Get set for the amazing race Wednesday on CBS. It's all here.
Welcome you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
It's the NFL on CBS coming to you from Seattle, Washington. A good matchup for you this afternoon. The Miami Dolphins and the Seattle Seahawks. We'll get it started after this. Wilcox with you from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Up to the minute standings. AFC East, Miami at 3-2. Jets have already won today. They're at 4-3, and Miami holding on to second place. A victory will move them back into the top spot. As for the AFC West, Seattle still very much in the mix thanks to their back-to-back victories. They are now 3-2, and both of these clubs are coming off their bye. And different emotions following that bye. Dave Wanstead's team still trying to forget the memory of the New York Jets and what happened 2 weeks ago. They're talking about a hex in South Florida. They can't seem to get past this New York team. Mike Holmgren, quarterback controversy, that has been the story throughout the week. His team will kick it off after Miami won the toss. Ryan Lindell doing the honors. And Chris Chambers, the rookie, from the 4. Chambers has a lane, cutting it to the outside. And Chambers out of bounds just before he got to midfield. And they will rule him out, in fact, in Seattle territory at the 49. It's a 47-yard return, chased down by Willie Williams.
Chris Chambers, he's the rookie. He comes over, bringing some speed to the special teams. He's been certainly special on the offense, giving Jay Fiedler another option, another receiver to go to on third down.
Jay Fiedler, look at the numbers, the 7 interceptions, and that's the one that sticks out at you. The last 4 games he's had those 7 picks and key interceptions, including late in that New York Jet game. A 21-17 loss 2 weeks ago. Double tight end set to open up. Great field position from the 49. On a handoff to Lamar Smith. And the former Seahawk has nowhere to go. No gain on first down as Chad Eaton makes the tackle. Let's tell you about this Miami offensive unit. And along the offensive line, Falau, Dixon, Ruddy, Perry, and Todd Wade does get the start. He's been dealing with some injuries to that knee. Backs and receivers, Smith is back in Seattle. He left here in '97. Conrad, Gadsden, James McKnight, another former Seahawk. And the starting tight end is Hunter Goodwin. On a 2nd and 10, line of scrimmage remains the 49. And a 3-receiver set. Fiedler wants to throw it on 2nd down, airing it out deep down the sideline. Jump ball opportunity, and it's picked off by Seattle. Willie Williams going up in the air to get it. And we talked about the interception problems for Fiedler. We see one early in the first quarter today.
Yeah, Fiedler came out saying they wanted to challenge the cornerbacks for the Seattle Seahawks. They've already turned the ball over 13 times this season. This will be the 4th turnover for the Miami Dolphins offense, and Willie Williams, excellent coverage under Chris Chambers. He just goes up and fights for the football, but he has excellent position to play this pass as the ball comes down. Good coverage by Willie Williams.
First interception of the season for Williams, 21st of his career. And you see the numbers that are racking up, and not positive ones for Jay Fiedler. So Seattle's first possession on a 1st and 10 from the 8. Their bread and butter has been Sean Alexander. And he gets the call on first down. Darrell Gardner is the first man there. Matt Hasselbeck, you want to talk about trying to get rid of a bad taste in your mouth, and that's what Hasselbeck told us about earlier this week when we met with him. Last time he started, you have to go back nearly a month. It was September 30th against Oakland, 14 of 28, 1 interception, 6 sacks on that day, injured his groin, and you see the quarterback rating lowest among current NFL starters.
And he's taken a beating, 17 sacks in those 3 games, and you saw the 3 interceptions. They want to come out and run the ball and try to protect the quarterback today.
It was a gain of 1 for Alexander. Hasselbeck, timing pattern, wide open, and knocked away at the last moment. Corin Robinson had the step. And Sam Madison providing coverage on that near sideline.
And Arturo Freeman comes over from the free safety spot filling in for Brock Marion, who's out with an injury. So Arturo Freeman making dividends and playing well here in the early beginning.
Well, the offensive line had their problems early in the season protecting Hasselbeck. They have been better of late in the return of Chris McIntosh, who's been dealing with an injured neck. Backs and receivers, Alexander has been outstanding in place of the injured Ricky Waters, and he's put up huge numbers in their last 2 games. 5 receivers set on 3rd and 9. Hasselbeck throwing. High toss, and it's caught by Jackson. First down to the 30-yard line. Terry Cousin with the tackle after the 21-yard hookup. Hasselbeck to Jackson. Defensively for the Miami Dolphins, they come in with the 9th-ranked defense in the NFL. Defensive line, they have not gotten the push, and they have not gotten the heat on the quarterback so far this season. Linebackers, Rogers, Thomas, and Moreland Greenwood. And the secondary, Solomon mentioned the injury to Brock Marion, ending a long 70-game starting streak. Arturo Freeman gets the nod, the second-year pro out of South Carolina. And a 1st and 10 now out to the 30-yard line. On the game, Alexander could not bust it to the outside, but a flag comes down. Zach Thomas, one of the best in the business, going sideline to sideline, bringing him down early after the gain of 1. And the first penalty means that we will have Bob McElwee in action in the early going. 12:29 remaining in the first.
And Sean Alexander comes up. He's pressing the hold, but you can see the speed of Zach Thomas just running him down.
Number 84, offense. 10 yards, repeat the down.
Play is negated because of the hold from Bobby Engram, the wide receiver. Well, let's get into it right away. Holmgren's decision to go with Matt Hasselbeck over Trent Dilfer, despite the fact that this team has been successful with Dilfer as the starter.
Well, Holmgren's going to give Matt Hasselbeck a chance to play with a really good running game right now. Going to give him a chance to have some success, but he says he's stubborn but not crazy. If the team struggles, you could expect to see Trent Dilfer come into the ball game.
And Holmgren has pared down this offense as well. This West Coast offense, it's not as intricate. At least that's the game plan going in. Trying to pick his way up the middle. Sean Alexander is tackled by Freeman after a gain of 3. One thing that Holmgren told us about Matt Hasselbeck, first 3 games Hasselbeck started, he would come to the line of scrimmage, he would have 50 things swirling in his head. Holmgren has told him, we just want you to think about 3 or 4 things. Scale it back.
Well, you have to understand, Matt Hasselbeck knows this offense, having played in the West Coast offense in Green Bay, but he comes over to a very young offensive football team where the offensive line, a very young group of receivers that are very inexperienced, so he's trying to coach everyone up, but he has to take care of his job first.
And watching Trent Dilfer from the sideline probably helped him as well, because Dilfer wasn't trying to recreate the wheel. Hasselbeck on a crossing pattern makes the connection to Corin Robinson. It was a 2nd and 17 as Robinson came out near side with a 6-yard gain. Brian Walker, the strong safety, bringing him down.
And Corin Robinson is one of the young wide receivers we were talking about on this football team, along with Darrell Jackson. They have been getting better with each game, and so those first 3 games they were still learning on the job, but now they're playing so much better as a football team, and I think the veteran Bobby Engram has really come over to help. The big plays that he's been making in 3rd down situations has really helped this offense.
Back to the original line of scrimmage after the holding call was assessed to Bobby Engram. Dime package for Miami as Hasselbeck tosses out across the middle. Jackson makes a move. Darrell Jackson, stop and go into Miami territory. Down the sideline, and he breaks a tackle. Jackson finally brought down inside the 10. Brian Walker in on the stop. A 64-yard play, and give the credit to Jackson, who did most of the work.
Mike Holmgren came out. He told us, he said, we respect these cornerbacks so much. You're going to see Darrell Jackson coming across, and what they want to do is they want to rub off the cornerbacks, and that's what they're able to do. You can see Patrick Surtain was in coverage on Darrell Jackson. They rub him off, bring him across the field, create some room for Jackson. Matt Hasselbeck hits him right on the run. He's able to break loose and pick up some additional yards.
It is the longest pass play in Matt Hasselbeck's young NFL career. And now a 1st and goal. Timeout. Line of scrimmage is the 6. And Seattle looking to get the lead early. We're in the first quarter. Miami's defense comes in with a tremendous reputation, but in the red zone so far this year, they have not got it done.
Yeah, they've allowed people to not only score touchdowns but field goals as well. They spent the bye week working on it.
On a 1st and goal. Handoff going up the middle. And Max Strong, the fullback, is brought down by Thomas and Freeman after a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 4.
And this is where Wannstedt has really challenged this football team. They've not only struggled on defense in the red zone, but the offense has struggled as well. He said they spent the bye week really trying to address it. And what he wants from his football team is they have to be more physical at the point of attack. He wants more productivity out of his defensive linemen, in particular the 2 defensive tackles.
Seahawks receivers have not scored a touchdown this season. Hasselbeck in trouble and sacked. Brought down at the 10-yard line. Daryl Gardner involved in applying the pressure. He was the first man there.
We said that Wannstedt wanted more productivity out of his 2 tackles, Tim Bowens, and Daryl Gardner is the guy that he really has had him watch tapes of John Randall and says, hey, this is how you got to play. And you can see Gardner just playing with great effort as he comes through to get the sack on Matt Hasselbeck.
Yeah, we asked Wannstedt about the play of Randall, and he said, I want my guys to see what this guy's doing on film. It's been incredible. And he had Daryl Gardner watch Randall specifically this week in preparation for the matchup. And now a 3rd and goal from the 10. Fake the pitch, and Hasselbeck is sacked by Taylor. So Seattle gets down close and moves in the wrong direction after back-to-back sacks from this Miami defense.
And they've responded in the red zone by moving this Seattle Seahawks offense backwards. This is just a fake pitch, and he rolls out, but no one picks up Jason Taylor coming off the left end, and Jason picks up his 3rd sack of the season. He's challenged himself. He says he wants to become more productive. With Trace Armstrong being absent on the other side, his sack production has been down.
35-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Lindell. He is 7 of 11 on field goal tries this season. Trying to get Seattle on the board. Lindell hooks it, and no good. Seahawks have nothing to show for the interception. The big play to Jackson got into the red zone and still come up empty.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 36. The all-new 200-horsepower Acura RSX Type S. And by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
No score, 8:24 to go in the 1st quarter. Miami and Seattle. Dolphins take over after the 35-yard miss field goal attempt from Ryan Lindell. And a 1st and 10 from the 25. Flags come down. And this play negated.
Prior to the snap, false start, 63, offense. 5 yards, 1st down.
Take another look at the field goal attempt. Solomon, any problems here? Snap and put down?
I think it's a good snap and good hold by Jeff Fiegels, the holder. Ryan Lindell just catches this ball wrong and pulls it to the left. He caught the middle of the ball and just hooked it to the left. He's got to convert in those situations. Big plays on offense. You have to reward the offense for moving the ball into that position and put some points on the board.
Back it up to the 20-yard line. Rob Conrad, the fullback, sets up as a receiver. Fiedler looking to throw it on a pump fake. Fiedler on the run into triple coverage and incomplete. Hunter Goodwin, the tight end, was the intended target. Gives us a chance to show you the Seattle defense in the front 4. Much improved from what this team was doing a year ago. Sinclair, Eaton, Randall, and King. Randall has been such a huge influence in the locker room. Linebackers, Simmons having a huge season. Levon Kirkland and Chad Brown round out the talented group. And in the secondary, Sean Springs joined by Maurice Kelly getting his first NFL start in for the injured Marcus Robertson, Reggie Tongue, and Willie Williams. The rest of that defensive backfield. 3 receivers set on a 2nd and 15. Here's Fiedler on the move, and Fiedler with a little shake and bake to the sideline. And he's forced out of bounds by the 27 after the 7-yard scamper. Willie Williams made sure that he wouldn't get any more.
You know, we talked to Jay Fiedler. He told us, he said he has to do a better job of trusting his ability to anticipate. Says he has to also be more patient. He's got into this problem of throwing interceptions. As you said, 7 interceptions in his last 4 games, already 1 here early in the 1st quarter. So he has to really be able to trust himself. Right, that time he was able to get out of the pocket and pick up some yards. But in order for his team to win today, he's going to have to make some plays throwing the ball down the field.
Out of the shotgun. On a 3rd and 8. Fiedler steps up, has the protection. Fiedler scrambling a bit and throws for a first down to McKnight. The former Seahawk gets into the stats column down to the 40-yard line. It's a gain of 13.
Fiedler does this very well. He throws on the run very well, and he's able to find his receiver because he's able to buy more time as he eludes the would-be pass rushers, and he finds this guy wide open in the middle of the field. And McKnight is a guy that's been making some plays on this offense. Used to play here in Seattle, and Sean Springs told us, he says McKnight is a good combination of speed and strength, and he can make some plays.
Has not put up the numbers that he was expecting to put up here in Miami. He wants to be more involved in the offense. On a quick toss, catch is made near side. McKnight bounced around and loses the football. He never had it cleanly. Anthony Simmons just came in and mugged McKnight the second he turned, and it's incomplete.
And this is a case of McKnight really just trying to run with the ball before he makes the reception. Bobbles this ball, but he has to recover it because you're not sure if that's a lateral pass or if it's directly along the line of scrimmage. You have to give credit to the speed of Anthony Simmons. He's a linebacker we're going to talk about a lot today because he has the speed to cover out in space, but he's also physical at the point of attack. Plays the run very well also.
Yeah, Mike Holmgren said he's as gifted a linebacker as you'll see in this league. Very intelligent. On a 2nd and 10 now from the 40. Flag comes down. And there's just been no flow to this Miami offense as of yet. And another call against the Dolphins.
False start, 63 offense. 5 yards, 2nd down.
Let's get an NFL Today report as we head to New York at Jim Nantz.
All right, Ian. Mike Ditka is still celebrating in the studio. The Bears come back from 31-16 down with 4.5 to play, force the overtime. First play from scrimmage in the overtime. Mike Brown picks it up, runs it back. Bears are now 5-1. Next week host Cleveland, our big doubleheader game. Numbers! Back to you guys.
Jim, thanks very much. How about that? Jim Miller gets knocked out of the game. Shane Matthews, who was the original starter this year, gets the opportunity. They end up winning it overtime.
The Monsters of the Midway are back.
They are back. Up the middle for Lamar Smith. And Smith crosses the 40-yard line for a gain of 7. He got a good block from Mark Dixon out front. And picking up yardage that they lost on that penalty.
Also very important for Miami to come out and establish some presence with the running game with Lamar Smith. He's the guy that they're looking to carry this football team. Don't want to have to put the game in the hands of Jay Fiedler as much as they need him to be productive, but more than anything, they need Lamar Smith to be big. But this is where the Vikings, I should say, the Dolphins have been great, is right here on 3rd down.
Smith goes to the sideline. 3rd down back. Travis Minor checks in. Fiedler throwing, standing tall in the pocket, and a pass and catch to James McKnight. Down to the 50-yard line, and it's a gain of 9. Enough for a Miami first down. They'll move the chains.
The Dolphins rank 5th in the National Football League on 3rd down because they can spread you out. They have a number of talented wide receivers who can make plays in space, and this time it's McKnight working on Willie Williams. He's able to win in the one-on-one situation coming over the middle of the field. Easy pass to complete for Jay Fiedler because he's just on the other side of the line of scrimmage. McKnight makes the catch and is able to get beyond the first down marker to pick up the first down.
Second reception for McKnight. Travis Minor remains in the backfield, and a 1st and 10 now from the 48. Little misdirection. Chris Chambers is dragged down. Huge loss as Chad Brown read it perfectly, and they lose 11 yards on that play.
We already saw Jason Taylor make a good play on the bootleg, and here you can see Chad Brown stays home. He reads this play all the way. He's able to stay in a good position to make the tackle on Chambers, but had Jay Fiedler kept the ball, he maintained good position to be able to pursue Jay Fiedler to get the sack. So that's just heads-up football by Chad Brown in that situation.
Chambers' first carry of his NFL career. Some believe he's built like a running back. He's 5'11", 210 pounds, and now Miami faces a 2nd and 21. Motion man is Conrad, who sets up as a receiver once again. Play action. Fiedler steps forward. Fiedler rifles to the sideline. Picked off again. Willie Williams on that far sideline. 2nd interception of the day for Williams. And Fiedler having his problems in the 1st quarter. That ball had nothing on it, and Williams stepped in front to make the play, and another Miami turnover. Year Miami Dolphins a +15 turnover ratio. This year they are now at a -9. 2 interceptions for Fiedler today, and Seattle has it. 1st and 10 of the 44. Hasselbeck off of play action. Alexander the catch and run, and accelerates across midfield into Miami territory, and it's a gain of 9 on the pass play.
And Jay Fiedler throws this ball late. He rolls out to his right. Now he looks left. The ball's got to come out now. And this is a very long throw. This ball travels about 30 yards in the air, but Willie Williams is covering Chris Chamber. He breaks on the ball, closes in, and because the ball comes out late, it gives Williams time to react and intercept the pass.
And the second time that they were looking for that matchup, Chambers and Williams, and it's Williams that's winning out. Call it a 2nd and 1 on the handoff. Juke move by Alexander and then thrown back by Derek Rogers. No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and short. Another NFL Today report as we head to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, Ditka's other team, the Saints, come back from 24 to 6 down, win it with Carney's 5th field goal of the day. A second chance. His first one was blocked, but the Rams were offsides. Saints win it. 1 second to go. No more unbeatens in the NFL.
The Saints.
Let's go back out to Ian and Sal.
Let's get some footage from Mike Ditka's high school. It's all Mike Ditka back in New York right now.
All the teams thriving in Mike's absence.
Mac Armstrong is coming up the middle, and I don't think he got it. Strong needed a yard and change, and Darrell Gardner met him head on.
Despite the turnovers, the early turnovers by the Dolphins, the Seahawks are going to have to capitalize because they're going to have to be physical at the point of attack with the offensive line because they have to be able to run the ball. Both teams have talked about it. They need to come out and run the ball very well to take pressure off their quarterbacks today.
Now, there might have been some indecision there. Fans wanted Holmgren to go for it with a 4th and a yard from the 47, but he does send out his punting unit, Jeff Fiegels, and snapper J.P. Darsh.
So despite the 2 turnovers caused by the Seahawks defense, they have no points to show for it. So they're going to find themselves in a very interesting situation.
They're going to come out and measure it anyway. From this angle, it does appear to be short. And it is.
Yes.
About a foot and change. Fiegels came out of the field, went back to the sideline, came back onto the field, and now he's headed to the sideline. They've sent Hasselbeck into the game to go for it.
This is, I think, what you have to do. I like this call by Mike Holmgren. You have to put the game in the hands of your offensive line. At some point in time, you're going to have to be physical. You're going to have to win in the trenches. This is an opportunity for this offense to continue to gain some momentum and pick up where the defense is left off.
This is their 3rd chance to get 1 yard. Looking to move the chains. Hasselbeck pushes it ahead. And a new set of downs for Seattle to work with. Miami felt that his knee was down, and they're pointing in the direction. But you look at the spot, and it's a 1st down.
And Mike Holmgren is able to go for it because he has confidence in this defense. They've come out and played very well here today, already turning the ball over 2 times, 2 interceptions. But, you know, they can put pressure on the quarterback as well. So he has confidence in this defense that they can go for it in a situation like that.
Now a 1st and 10 at the 45. Winding down to 2 minutes left here in the 1st. Hasselbeck throwing on 1st down. Strong throw to Fourier, the tight end. And he is brought down right at the marker by Walker and Greenwood.
And they come back and throw on 1st down, not running the ball, electing to allow Matt Hasselbeck to get some rhythm in the passing game. And he's looked good early on. When we talked to him, we kind of sensed that his confidence had been shaken. He was booed the last time he played here when the Oakland Raiders came to town 4 weeks ago. So he's been struggling. He said some of the fans came back with some pretty good lines and sort of rocked his confidence a little bit.
He did applaud their creativity. I'll give him that.
Sure did.
On the handoff. Alexander cannot get going. Miami is ready for him every time he touches the football. Zach Thomas coming over to make the stop. And the Dolphins claim they've got it.
Ball came out late.
And they do. It's the Seahawks that turn it over. Flag comes down. Patrick Surtain on the recovery. It was slow to develop. as Alexander ran into a crowd, and the question becomes, was he down? Personal foul against the Seahawks.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 86.
The tight end Christian Fourier called for unnecessary roughness.
And now many of the Seahawks are claiming that Alexander was down when the ball came out. Did appear to come out a little late.
Line of scrimmage, if Miami gets it, will be the 39-yard line. Let's take another look.
See the speed of this Miami Dolphins defense getting out, but he appears to be down.
He's down
well before the ball came out. And I think they've got to take a look at this.
Yeah, they're going to challenge this, Solomon. Now, I was hesitant to even start calling a fumble because the play appeared dead. The whistle did not blow, and that's the issue.
But you can see, I think there's enough evidence to know that the ball still belongs to the Seattle Seahawks, and they should be awarded the ball where Sean Alexander goes down.
Alexander is clearly down and still has the football. He lost it after the play should have been whistled dead. And a coach's challenge at the minute 24 mark of the first quarter.
And Mike Holmgren isn't happy. Even if the ball did come out late, he needs for Sean Alexander to protect the football. He did fumble 2 weeks ago against the Denver Broncos, but again, as we take a look, we'll see that Zach Thomas comes up to make the tackle. He's down, clearly down, and the ball hasn't.
He still got it.
Even come loose a little bit, and that ball comes out very late. So I think it's quite clear from the pictures we have from the replay that he was clearly down before the ball came out.
Well, Bob McElwee is taking a look out on the sideline in what should be a fairly straightforward replay that would benefit the Seattle Seahawks, and they would hold on to the football. Seahawks are driving. Ryan Lindell missed a 35-yard field goal that would have given them a 3-0 lead.
The rule states that you're down by contact when your knee hits the ground. If you're in contact with another defender, but as you can see, here we go, right there. Now he's down. See the knees right down, and the ball is still in there. The ball comes out well after his knee touches the ground.
Yeah, it's great when they show the replays on the big screen in stadiums. You have thousands of people looking in one direction and reacting in unison, and obviously we know what the Seattle fans felt.
After reviewing the play, the runner is down by contact. No fumble. Seattle is not charged with a team timeout.
Now wait a second, there was a penalty called on Fourier.
That's right, there was a penalty called on Christian Fourier.
It was a personal foul on Fourier that took place after the play. And now McElwee and the officials have to sort that out.
The unnecessary roughness penalty against Seattle stands and will be enforced.
So there you have it. So while Seattle does hold on to the football, they will backtrack a bit with the field position.
It's going to cost them some yards here. Holmgren needs for Sean Alexander to possess and hold on to the football. They are going to rely on him a great deal, as they have in the last couple of weeks when he's had some really good games against Jacksonville and against Denver. But they need him to stay healthy. They need him to protect the football, because they're going to rely on him and his ability to run the football to help Matt Hasselbeck in this young offensive grouping in terms of their personnel. The young receivers are beginning to come on. The offensive line is beginning to gel, and with Ricky Waters out, they're going to need Sean Alexander to play big and to hold on to the football.
Now McElwee is headed back to the television monitor to find out the spot. He's on a hookup upstairs with the replay crew. Sean Alexander, you're talking about him and what he has meant to this team in recent weeks. Alexander is looking for his third straight 100-yard game. No Seahawk running back has ever accomplished that. There have been some big names on this Seattle roster over the years at that position.
Some really good running backs. Kurt Warner, one guy. Chris Warren, another back-to-back 1,000-yard running back for the Seahawks.
Ricky Waters, of course.
to name another.
So McElwee just has to figure out where the spot will be. He'll talk it over with Mike Holmgren explaining. Personal foul was called on Fourier, and that's where Seattle gets hurt. If it was never ruled a fumble on the field, then you never have a personal foul. But the biggest key for Holmgren and company right now is that they hold on to the football.
You talk about how well Sean Alexander has played over the last couple of weeks, and Mike Holmgren still isn't happy with the young running back in his second year in the National Football League. He says he has to do a better job of understanding the situation and pressing the hole and picking up yards and not putting us in a hole on third down. Here's the play. You can see where the line of scrimmage.
Line of scrimmage was the 36-yard line. Now McElwee is explaining his viewpoint to Mike Holmgren on the near sideline.
You can see where Alexander goes down right around the 37-yard line. Penalty would be assessed from there.
It would be the Seattle 48 after the penalty. We've had a long stoppage here following the coach's challenge. And here's McElwee.
The announcement on the ruling was incorrectly made. The ball was loose before the runner touched the ground. It is a fumble.
Well, wait a second. Now you've lost me, Bob.
They went to review the review. That is a very interesting sequence there.
I don't know what McElwee was seeing. They have ruled this a fumble. Sean Alexander, after initially taking a look at it and telling everyone here that he was indeed down, McElwee headed back to the monitor.
Let's look again. Let's watch the ball. You can see it in his left arm. The ball is still secure, and he's out. At this point, he is down on the ground, and the ball is clearly in. I don't understand what they saw to overturn that.
Strange sequence here in Seattle as Miami does take over, and Lamar Smith is hit initially as he took the handoff by Chad Brown. So Alexander is left with a question mark out on the sideline. That's his third fumble in the last 97 touches, and that's one label you do not want to get in this league as a fumbler. It cost Amon Green his roster spot here in Seattle and a trade to Green Bay.
And it's the second fumble in the last two games for Alexander. It was still early here in the late minutes, I should say, of the first quarter.
It has riled up these fans with 45 seconds to play in the first and a 2nd and 11. Fiedler's thrown 2 picks already, but he's got his man wide open, Chris Chambers, as they continue to work that left side, and Willie Williams. Chambers turning in for a gain of 12 and a first down for the Dolphins.
Chambers is a big, strong receiver, doing a good job of driving Willie Williams off the line of scrimmage and able to come back. And that time the ball was thrown by Jay Fiedler on time. So the timing of the pass play was just perfect, giving Chambers a chance to come back to the ball and make a play.
Chambers now heads to the sideline, and a 1st and 10 at the Seattle 35. Amazingly, after 2 picks, Miami is driving down the field trying to take the lead here in the first. On a pitch, here's Smith trying to accelerate on a spin move and then pushed backwards after a gain of 2. Just about everybody involved defensively for the Seattle Seahawks. And now you've got players flying over the top of this pile. We knew this would be a physical game coming in. We figured it would be a ball control, low scoring game. It's gotten even a little chippy early on.
I think the emotions went up a level with the bad call by the officials on the fumble. The defense is taking it personal.
End of the first, Miami and Seattle. No score from the Pacific Northwest. The second quarter is coming up. Second quarter here in Seattle. We've had a lot happen despite the fact that we have no score to speak of. Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcox, our entire CBS crew with you. 2 teams at 3 and 2 coming off their bye weeks, and Miami is driving now on a 2nd and 8. 33. Fiedler. Fiedler looking to run it now up the middle of the field, and Fiedler almost lost his footing as he gained 6 on that scramble. Well, Jay Fiedler, you have to give him credit on one angle, and that is Solomon. He throws 2 picks to Willie Williams. The first play of this drive, he goes right back towards Willie Williams and Chris Chambers.
Well, Chan Gailey, the offensive coordinator, said that he has some gunslinger in him. That means he never gives up on a play. Despite throwing 2 interceptions in the first quarter, he's going to continue to fight throughout the game to try to give his team a chance to win the ball game.
Sean Springs said, hey, he's a survivor. He finds ways to win. Oakland-Miami game is the perfect example. Up the middle for Smith, and neither team has been able to run the football. No gain on a 3rd and 2. Anthony Simmons, what a year he is having at that strong side linebacker position.
You know, I'm impressed with his ability to play to run, to defeat blockers and make tackles, but I'm more impressed when I watch him in coverage on 3rd down, because this guy, he can run. He's faster than the 2 starting safeties on this football team, and he can get to the ball. He makes tackles and he makes plays in the passing game.
Field goal attempt, 46 yards for Orlando Mara. Hasn't missed this year. And that streak will continue as he bangs it through and gives Miami a 3-0 lead. 46-yarder for Mara. Miami in front, early stages, second quarter. Miami with a 3-0 advantage, 13:34 to go until halftime. Matt Hasselbeck waiting to get his chance to try to put Seattle on the board, unable to take advantage of turnovers. And Miami was able to at least get the 3 after what was ruled a fumble. Charlie Rogers, the return man for Seattle, and Rogers is spun down at the 30-yard line by Terry Cousin. 17-yard return, and another skirmish breaks out after the play. We'll step aside. In Seattle, Miami up 3-0. Welcome back, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcots. One of the more bizarre first quarters you will see in a 3-0 game. And Bob McElwee, the point that we are now hearing is that he just misspoke initially, that he meant to say that it was indeed a fumble and that he didn't go back to look at it again and re-review it. Your thoughts?
Well, I think in this case, the eye in the sky did not lie. It was clear that it was not a fumble by the running back, Sean Alexander. The picture showed us that he was down before the ball came out.
On a handoff, Alexander getting an opportunity up the middle, and he gains 6 on first down. Terry Cousin in to make that stop. And it's a turnover that actually cost Seattle points. 3-0 Dolphins.
And that's the difference in the ball game right now. The Seahawks have turned the ball over once. The Miami offense was able to take advantage of it, put 3 points on the board. But when the Dolphins have turned it over twice on 2 interceptions by Jay Fiedler, the Seahawks, well, their offense have not been able to take advantage and convert and put points on the board.
Alexander gliding and loses the football. A clear fumble recovered by Freeman. Sean Alexander has coughed it up again. And Patrick Surtain was the man that knocked it out of there.
And we certainly saw on that one, that is clearly a fumble by Sean Alexander. And Mike Holmgren was not happy with the previous fumble. He certainly is going to be upset here. Sean will just attack the line of scrimmage, and this ball will be knocked out by Patrick Surtain. Number 23 comes over and puts a right hand in and knocks the ball out. And Sean has to do a better job of protecting the football. That's now his 4th fumble of the season now in 6 ball games.
Ricky Waters came over to talk to him just as Alexander was coming off the field. And Waters has been a huge cheerleader. The two have developed a tremendous relationship. And right now, Alexander has a lot weighing on his mind.
Just a few weeks ago when we were here, and Mike Holmgren told us he needs for Sean to have that level of concentration throughout the entire football game. Doesn't have it so far here today.
48-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Lamar Smith, the ball carrier, and a gain of 1 as Michael Sinclair was the first man there. You know, Alexander told us after the Jacksonville game, the offensive linemen were teasing him, saying, hey, are you going to be a one-hit wonder or what? Well, he wasn't. He bounced back with a tremendous game against Denver. And now Trent Dilfer coming over to console Alexander.
And a lot of the teammates, they really like Sean. They know he's a nice guy of good character, but he's going to have to do a better job of protecting the football. That's what this offense needs from him, to be effective running the ball, but he has to protect it and keep it and not fumble.
On 2nd and 9, play action. Fiedler thrown and complete out to the 45-yard line, and James McKnight. McKnight was brought down very quickly, and it's a gain of 7. Log on to NFL.com. Vote for the AFC and NFC All-Star teams to play in this year's Pro Bowl. Vote now at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. Clock is moving here in the second quarter. 11.5 remaining. And a 3rd and 2 for this Miami offense. From the 44. Running game has not been there as of yet for the Dolphins. Fiedler. Quick drop and a quick throw. Knocked away. Sean Springs with a defensive play on Oronde Gadsden.
Sean Spring told us that he's less than 100% with the hamstring injury as he comes back and making the start. But you can see he says he likes to play the physical wide receivers. Oronde Gadsden, very big physical wide receiver. And Sean says these are the kind of guys I like to play against. And he shows us why right there.
Yeah, he said, I don't want to go against those sneaky, quick wideouts that I have to chase all day.
Anyone that will test that hamstring injury.
Matt Turk plops this one into the end zone at a touchback. So Seattle will have it at the 20. 44-yard punt in a 3-0 game. Miami in front. Frustrating so far for this Seattle offense. You see what they've done in their first 3 possessions. That second one, the controversial fumble. And they trail Miami 3-0. They take over a 1st and 10 at their own 20. Hasselbeck standing tall in the pocket. And the ball came off the helmet of Zach Thomas. Incomplete, as Hasselbeck was rifling it in the direction of Darrell Jackson.
Yeah, he rifled it all right, and there was no way Jackson was going to catch this ball. He's looking to his right, but he's got to get the ball there a little sooner because you can see Zach Thomas is right there in position to make a play. And Darrell Jackson so close to the quarterback. That ball was thrown way too hard. Needs to have better touch on it by Matt Hasselbeck.
Well, we figured we'd break this one out in the spirit of Halloween. Zackenstein.
That's what he looks like, the quarterback.
Hasselbeck forced to throw it away as he was scrambling a bit. Sean Alexander was in the general area. And we had a chance to sit down with Zach Thomas, and he came out and was very honest. Said, hey, the Jets are in our heads. Every time something happens against that team, collectively, the thought process on this Miami team is, here we go again.
Yeah, they were up by 17 points at halftime in that game and allowed the Jets to score 21 unanswered points in the second half. And he told us, he says, you know, we have to stay aggressive when we get a lead, not just the players, but the coaches as well. So they've challenged the coaches as well as everyone on the team. Hey, when we get a lead, we have to stay aggressive in our play calling and the way we play on the football field.
7 straight losses now to the Jets. On a 3rd and 10, Hasselbeck had it broken up. Bobby Ingram, the intended receiver, and he couldn't bring it in. Seattle has to punt it.
Yeah, he overthrows Ingram just by a little bit. Ingram not able to hold on to the football. Been very productive on 3rd down for the Seattle football team. He has 8 receptions on 3rd down. You can see the ball is just outside of his reach. Hasselbeck has to do a better job of putting the ball in a position where he can make the catch.
How about Sean Alexander not getting a touch on that possession?
That should tell us something. He's going to have a second chance here at some point in the ball game. He needs to recollect his confidence and come out and produce.
Jeff Fiegel's punting. Ogden gets an opportunity from the 33 and brought down at the 35. He was able to pick up 2 after the 47-yard punt. Isaiah Kazavetsky making the stop on special teams. A 3-0 game. Turned out to be a beautiful day here in Seattle, Washington after a shaky Saturday afternoon. Lots of rain, which we've all come to expect in this area of the country. 3-0. Dolphins in front. 10:40 to go now, first half. On a handoff, Lamar Smith, and Smith finally had some room to work with as he crosses the 40-yard line for a gain of 7. It gives Seattle a lot of credit defensively so far this season. Solomon, the improvements that they made during the offseason, what they've done against the run this year compared to a year ago is simply incredible.
Well, last year they gave up nearly 400 yards a game. 153 rushing each game. We were ranked 28th last year. They come into today's game only giving up 86 yards a game, improved to 5th in the National Football League. So they've improved big time.
Smith breaking 1 tackle and is able to handle that second wave for a gain of 4 and a first down now for Miami. Levon Kirkland in on the stop.
Yeah, the reason why they've been able to improve, as you can see last year, George Kuntz and Riddick Parker and Cortez Kennedy, but these are the guys that have made the difference in the middle of that defense. You see 86 rushing yards per game, and that's Levon Kirkland, Chad Eaton, and John Randall. And I think Chad Eaton is the really underrated guy because he allows, I think, John Randall to draw single blocking, no double teams, and Of course, John Randall will eat up any single blocking in the National Football League. And he's producing 4.5 sacks so far this season.
1st and 10 now from the 46. Minor checks in, and Minor has a hole. Travis Minor, the rookie, brought down by his shoes from behind. Todd Perry provided a block up front, and Maurice Kelly cut him down low after the gain of 10.
And Minor's a guy that came in, and he's had some really big plays. Of course, 2 weeks ago against the Jets, he was able to rip off a 26-yard run for a touchdown, but he's been the guy to make plays on 3rd down. You can see he's used to making big plays. The rookie out of Florida State has a good feel for the run as well as the passing game. And he told us, Chan Gailey said, this is a kid that really has a good feel for the passing game, can run the screen plays, understands how to stay behind the guard and make big plays in this offense. I expect him to make some big plays, not only on 3rd down, but as you can see on 1st and 2nd down as well.
Well, he said the passing game came very easy to him because of his experience at Florida State and the type of offense that they run with that Seminole program.
Very explosive, and he has good knowledge, I think, for a young player, how to play several positions, whether it's run or pass.
And he's going to play on some 1st downs. Dave Wanstead told us that yesterday. He's developed a nice relationship with Lamar Smith. He called him his mentor. He's been like a second coach to him. Fiedler looking to throw it on 1st down. To the sideline, caught by Conrad. And Rob Conrad, with that bruising style, is forced out of bounds at the 29-yard line. His first touch of the year. 15 yards through the air.
And watch the linebacker, Anthony Simmons. He's in position to make a play. He knows he has Conrad in coverage, and he's there, but he just has to take a better angle to be able to. If you can't make a play on the ball, you have to make the tackle. And he cuts underneath. He's not able to do either.
1st and 10 now from the 29. Well, Miami is on the move. Despite 2 interceptions in the 1st quarter from Fiedler, Miami leading this game. On a give for Smith, and he is gang tackled at the 30-yard line. No gain on the play. Kirkland and Sinclair combining along with just about everybody else that wanted to get involved.
And Lamar Smith, I think, is one of the more underrated running backs in the National Football League, and he's been very productive. Of course, he's been able to break tackles and make people miss. He had 2 fumbles in that game against the Jets, and so Dave Wanstead said, hey, I haven't even mentioned it to him, didn't talk about it. I know that he can run the football. I know he's going to protect it. He set a team record for carries last year with the Miami Dolphins.
He had 3 fumbles all of last year. He's got 3 already this season. Play action. Here's Fiedler rolling out and throwing to a spot to the sideline. Brought in cleanly. And a 1st down for Miami. McKnight down to the 14. Willie Williams with the coverage.
And Chan Gailey said, we designed our offense to fit the talent we have. Jay Fiedler is not one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the National Football League, but this is what he does do well. Throws the ball very accurately while on the run, so they can use the bootleg and half rolls to get him outside of the pocket where he has clear vision to make the completion to his receiver.
And it was Oronde Gadsden, that brought that one in. And now a 1st and 10 at the 14. Motion man is McKnight. On a pitch, Smith trying to cut it upfield and can't do it. Lamar Smith, no gain on the play. Chad Eaton in on the stop. One thing that Dave Wanstead told us in talking about Fiedler, a lot of people question him during the offseason. Why aren't you going after Gerback or Trent Green? And Wanstead said, hey, we think that Jay Fiedler is in that 2nd tier of QBs among the group of the names that we just talked about.
And he said, and among those 2nd tier quarterbacks, he said there's nobody that we think is head and shoulders above Jay Fiedler. And I think if Jay can just really tone it down and avoid, I think, making the turnovers, the interceptions, he can lead this football team, and he's already done it. I think in the earlier game this season against the Raiders, came up big in the 4th quarter.
2nd and 10, and a big hit out of the 10-yard line as McKnight took a smack from Kelly. 4-yard gain.
Kelly's in the game replacing the free safety Marcus Robertson. Kelly's a hitter. The book on him is that he can tackle very well. He'll hit you, as we see on this play. And I think the only knock on him has been his ability to make plays in the open field. But here he has a bead, comes up and make a big hit on McKnight. That's what you do at the safety position. You make them pay if they're going to catch the ball over the middle.
Red zone offense, a major problem for Miami this year. 17 trips inside the 20, only 6 touchdowns. They've got 2 picks and 2 fumbles. This is a 3rd and 6 from the 10. Fiedler looking to run it. Fiedler diving. Did he get in? Loose football. Seahawks claim they've got it as Fiedler took a hit at the goal line.
They've already turned the ball over 4 times in the red zone. That's why they're the second worst team in the AFC down in the red zone.
Minor on the recovery. It's a touchdown for the Dolphins.
The rookie with the heads-up play. Big-time play. You can see Jay Fiedler, he gets out of the pocket. He runs very well, and he's going to come in. He's hit by Willie Williams, and then again by John Randall. The ball is free, and see Travis Minor comes in, and he's at the bottom of the pile, comes up with the football.
So Minor on the recovery. Mare with the extra point. And we talked about the word bizarre in the first quarter. That's one of the strange touchdowns that Miami is happy to take right now. 10-0, Miami in front with 5:39 to go until halftime. Jay Fiedler on the run. He coughed it up at the goal line, and now the question is who's going to be given credit for the touchdown. Go over it in a minute. Charlie Rodgers on the return, and Rodgers thought he had an opening that could have brought him the distance. Brian Walker tackles him before he hits the 30-yard line.
It was a good tackle by Walker because Rodgers had a hole. It's like he was going to take that one back. On this play, Fiedler, he's going to head toward the end zone, and the question is, did he cross the plane of the goal line before the ball came loose? I think very difficult to tell from that angle because we're blocked by Reggie Tongue, the safety.
He may have crossed the plane, but look at the officials now go to the pile to see who's got the football. There's no signal of a touchdown until they've determined that Minor was the one that recovered.
Absolutely right.
Here's Hasselbeck with his team down 10-0. Pump fake, throwing on the move, and incomplete. Sean Alexander was the intended receiver initially, unless Alexander's having a tough time in these screen routes.
And here's another look, and the hit, ball's going to come out when John Randall makes the hit right there. That ball comes out, but you can't tell from that angle if he's already crossed the plane of the goal line.
Well, officially it is Jay Fiedler that has been given the touchdown on a 10-yard run. So Minor on the recovery. Whether that actually had anything to do with the play is something that Bob McElwee would have to answer. Up the middle for Sean Alexander. And it's a gain of 4. Miami celebrating a bit defensively, and that's something Jason Taylor told us about yesterday in the meetings. They're trying to get back to that rah-rah college feel that they've had the last couple of years on this defense.
After the loss to the Jets, they got together. They have a leadership committee with the Miami Dolphins. They met with the head coach Dave Wannstedt, and they met for about an hour, and they really challenged certain players to step up their game. But the main thing that came out of that meeting is they have to get back to playing with enthusiasm and with the energy that you talked about, Ian.
Reclaim that identity on defense that hasn't been there. On a 3rd down throw, and Hasselbeck is fortunate it wasn't picked off and taken the other way by Freeman.
Hasselbeck has misfired on his last couple of throws. He was booed on 1st down when he was throwing the ball away, but this is just a misfire again to Bobby Ingram on 3rd down. He's got to put that ball where Ingram can make a catch because he's sure-handed, and Ingram came into the game 3rd in the AFC in 3rd down receptions. He's got to get that ball to the receiver where he can make a play and pick up some yards.
That's 5 straight incomplete passes now for Matt Hasselbeck. Fiegels with the punt. Fans getting restless here. You heard the boos earlier for Hasselbeck. Ogden on the return. Ogden loses the football. It's still loose. What is going on here? Seahawks have got it.
Now this is just lack of execution and lack of concentration. The Dolphins are in a great situation to try to put more points on the board and put this game away. Alex Bannister making yet another play. Ogden fields the punt. He's going to be hit. You see number 85, he's in there. Several players, but look, this ball's still on the ground. No one's recovered it. It's just poor execution, just lack of concentration.
Orlando Huff also involved in the area with Bannister.
Look at Bannister. He's just laying there, doesn't see the ball until the last minute, is able to pull it in.
Bannister on the recovery, and a 1st and 10 now for Seattle inside the 30. Alexander weaving his way up the middle, and then pushed back after he crossed the 20-yard line. They'll give him a gain of 9 or 10, depending upon where the spot is.
And this is, I think, the thing Seattle has to do. You have to show that you have confidence in Sean Alexander. He's been the most productive player in this offense the last 2 football games. So you have to come back, give him the ball, and attack this Miami Dolphins defense right up the middle. They've worn down in games, particularly in the second half. So you have to start attacking them right now. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. You have to do it. And he's going to pick up some yards, but he's going to have to hold on to the football. That time he came right through the middle with both hands protecting the football. So I think that's what they have to continue to do here in the second quarter.
And it is a first down for Seattle. Line of scrimmage will be the 18. Miami with a 10-0 lead. Dolphins appeared to be in complete control, up 10-0, getting the football back. Seattle doing very little on the offensive end after 2 fumbles from Alexander.
Turnovers are key. They just kill your momentum, and I think it just breathes life into the opponent.
Alexander waiting for that hole to develop. Instead of running right, he decided to kick it back up the middle, and Freeman and Taylor combined to make the stop after a 3-yard gain. Well, for the best NFL coverage on the net, including expert analysis, in-depth team reports, you can go to cbs.sportsline.com or AOL keyword CBS Sportsline. It'll be a 2nd and 7 now from the 15-yard line for the Seahawks. Play fake. Hasselbeck steps up. Hasselbeck under some heat. Throwing on the run to the end zone. Touchdown. Atula Mealy wide open.
You have to give Hasselbeck some credit. Up until that throw, he had thrown 5 straight incompletions, and he buys time. He's under pressure by Jason Taylor, who comes in. He takes the hit, but he buys enough time to get the ball over to the corner of the end zone to Atula Mealy.
His first touchdown as a Seahawk for Matt Hasselbeck. Holmgren has been waiting.
He's been waiting, and Hasselbeck, he told us in the meeting, he says, hey, I'm feeling the pressure to do well. And, you know, Mike Holmgren had talked with him and says, yeah, we need you to do well because you're not above taking you out of the football game.
Flag down as Lindell puts through the extra point. But a penalty marker on the play. So it took until week 7 for Matt Hasselbeck to throw his first touchdown in a Seattle uniform. Now penalty markers appear to be against Miami.
12 men on the kickoff against the defense. The point is good. The 5 yards will be assessed on the kickoff.
A 3-play, 28-yard drive after the Ogden fumble off the punt return, and it turns into 7 for Seattle. You see the drive for Seattle. Atula Mealy, his 2nd touchdown reception of the year.
And watch the linebacker, Moreland Greenwood. He has the outside right where Mealy is going to go, but instead he drops to the middle of the football field. He appears to be confused, and Mealy's just going to go wide open. Zach Thomas tries to get there. Look how open he is right there. You can't miss him. Even though Hasselbeck's under pressure by Jason Taylor, you can't help but find the guy who's wide open. He's able to get the ball there enough for Mealy to make the reception for a touchdown.
So Matt Hasselbeck has at least 1 touchdown now under his belt. And Hasselbeck has gotten this team to within 3. Lindell on the kickoff. Chris Chambers on the return from the 1. Chambers trying to take it across the field on a poor decision. He's bottled up at the 10-yard line by Ike Charlton. Coming up, NFL on CBS. It'll be doubleheader action. A lot of football for you next Sunday. Baltimore and Pittsburgh among those that we'll have for you. Jacksonville at Tennessee, New England and Atlanta, Indy at Buffalo. Late games, KC, San Diego, Chicago, Cleveland, and Seattle at Washington. Doubleheader action next Sunday here on CBS.
And if you're Miami in this situation, you have to protect the football. You want to try to get some yards, but don't turn the ball over in this position just before you go in that halftime.
3:08 to go in the second quarter. On a handoff, Lamar Smith fighting forward, and he picks up 3. Chad Brown combining with Reggie Tongue to bring him down.
Tongue comes up from the outside to contain the football, and The speed of Chad Brown. You'll see him line up at defensive end. He's at the outside linebacker position on the early downs. But he's a guy that can make some plays and pursuing on the run. He can pressure your quarterback and he'll make plays in coverage. And I'm really impressed with the linebacking core with the Seattle Seahawks. We talked about Levon Kirkland in the middle and Anthony Simmons on the outside. But Chad Brown, 5.5 sacks so far on the season, can make some big-time plays.
Now a 2nd and 7. Fiedler straight back. Timing pattern to the sideline and perfectly thrown for Gadsden. A flag down as Gadsden hauls it in. Sean Springs on the coverage.
Excuse me, it's going to be interesting to see who they call because there was separation. Pierce is going to come back to pass interference on the receiver, Rondé Gadsden, as both were jockeying for position.
Offensive pass interference number 86.
Now there's the matchup.
Distance to the goal line. 2nd down.
That negates a 35-yard play, much to the annoyance of Dave Wanstead.
Yeah, this ball's coming down and don't see anything there. It had to be earlier in the route before the ball came in. Springs didn't get his head around, but he's running with the receiver on this play. Let's see if we can. There it is. There you see the left hand. He pushes off just prior to the ball arrival. And the official is all on top of that one. Good call.
Now the line of scrimmage will be the 7 as we count it down to 2 minutes left. First half, 2nd and 13. Play fake. Fiedler from his own end zone. Little floater out front for Smith. Accelerating and twirled down shy of the 10 by Michael Sinclair. Another flag on the play. This one was thrown on the near side. Now this has been a brutal drive for the Miami Dolphins and a brutal stretch if you throw in the fumble off the punt return from Ogden.
Well, we've seen a number of flags and a number of turnovers, fumbles, and interceptions.
Ineligible player downfield on a pass, number 61. That penalty is declined. It will be 3rd down. That's the 2-minute warning.
So Tim Ruddy called on that ineligible man on down the field. Only cost them a 1-yard gain. And if you haven't seen the scores yet, you're in for a surprise just about every week in the NFL.
Once again, it's happening. The teams you don't expect to win, they're pulling it out. Very exciting year in the National Football League.
4 receiver set. Stepping up. Fiedler throwing. James McKnight the catch and then spilled down out across the 15-yard line by Willie Williams. And that is a gain of 8. Timeout called. Seattle had only 1 timeout to work with after losing one earlier because of the challenge. So they do have 1:47 left on the clock. Getting the football back. Should get another shot here before we hit halftime. Miami 10, Seattle 7. And Charlie Rogers waiting at his own 35. Matt Turk, the punter, head carrying the snap. Turk. A high spiraling puck. Rogers from the 39 and brought down very quickly. Scott McGarrahan was all over it. No gain on the play after the 45-yard boot. Down to 1:39 left. Coming up Thursday on CBS. Find out why just getting a drink of water can be a life-threatening adventure. Don't miss an all-new Survivor. That's Thursday, right here on CBS.
And we talked about some of the miscues that we've already seen here in the first half, the fumbles, the interceptions, and the number of penalties. Both teams are coming off 5 weeks to see if we can see them get it together and play, or at least execute better in the second half.
Seahawks looking for their 3rd consecutive win. A 1st and 10 from the 38. Hasselbeck under pressure and brought down. A flag comes down. Kenny Mixon was the first man there, as Hasselbeck was beginning to scramble after sensing that heat. And he came up hopping a bit. He's got to get his shoulder pads back in order. Needs some help. But a penalty marker once again. And it's working against Miami.
Personal foul, 15-yard face mask foul, 95 defense, grabbing the face mask and turning. 15 yards, 1st down.
Tim Bowens, the 8-year veteran out of Mississippi.
Tim Bowen will apply the pressure along with number 79, Kenny Mixon. He comes in. You can see he's fighting for more yards and didn't see a face mask there on that play as Hasselbeck was looking to get down on the ground before he get hit really hard.
And look where it puts the football at the 47-yard line of Miami. Hasselbeck, quick throw, and the connection made. Bobby Ingram. And the clock continues to roll. 1:22 and counting. They'll move the chains again. Line of scrimmage is now the 35. After the 12-yard pickup through the air. Coming up on 1 minute left in the second quarter. Hasselbeck has the time. Timing pass to the outside. Brought in by Robinson. It's a catch to the 20-yard line. That covers 15 yards.
This is an excellent throw by Hasselbeck. Well-timed. Corin Robinson working against the veteran Sam Madison. He comes up, makes the play, goes up for the ball, but good throw, good catch by Robinson, who's been getting better each week in this rookie season.
Line of scrimmage is now the 20. Miami leading by 3 with 1:07 left in the first half. Hasselbeck directing this offense down the field. On a handoff, Alexander. This is a team that has no timeouts left. And here's the clock rolling now. Under a minute to go. 2-yard gain for Alexander as the Seahawks rush to the line. Hasselbeck trying to set things up, directing traffic. Hasselbeck steps forward, avoids the rush, throws it to the end zone. Caught by Jackson. Touchdown, Seattle.
Matt Hasselbeck, good job. Good poise in the pocket because he was under pressure. He was able to step out of the tackler's hand and able to buy extra time in order for Jackson to get open. And once he got open, Hasselbeck wasted no time in finding him and releasing the ball accurately.
Seattle was the last team in the NFL to have a wide receiver catch a touchdown this season. Darrell Jackson is the man to do it. First Seattle wideout with a touchdown receiving this year. Ryan Lindell on the extra point. And Seattle has taken the lead. 5 plays, 62 yards.
Hasselbeck had been shaken up in his previous 3 starts where he was sacked 17 times. And so he's showing some poise here in the pocket. He's getting out of the hands, and you can see many of the linemen holding on to him, but he's able to stand in the pocket strong and deliver the ball accurately for the touchdown to Darrell Jackson, who gets deep behind the cornerback. That's Ben Kelly in coverage, number 20, and gets behind this middle linebacker, Zach Thomas. This ball is just well thrown.
Solomon, it was Adewale Ogunleye who had an opportunity to bring down Matt Hasselbeck. Why do I mention it? Well, he did have a chance to bring him down, and then they would have avoided the touchdown. I just want to prove that I can say the name.
You can say the name. Yeah. Wally Ogunleye, did I say that right?
You just nailed it, my friend.
Practice makes perfect.
Now, Darrell Jackson, 17-yard touchdown reception. 14-10 now, Seattle in front of Miami. Very interesting first half here with the fumbles, the penalties, instant replay.
And the wide receivers making big plays. Darrell Jackson in his 2nd season, and Corin Robinson, a big reception. He's in his 1st season, a rookie. And I think this is football team, the Seattle Seahawks. They're in a position to really grow in confidence and mature. They were down by 10 points in this game, but starting to grow and build confidence, and that's what Mike Holmgren's need from his players, young group of players on the offensive side of the ball.
Chambers on the return. Tried a juke move, and Seattle special teams came down the field in a hurry, led by Curtis Fuller. A 13-yard return for Chambers. Coming up, Nextel halftime report. Join Jim Nantz and the rest of the gang back in New York to get you caught up to date on what's happened around the NFL, plus a CBS News update. That's coming up. Nextel halftime report.
It's important for a team like the Seahawks to talk about the young players they have on this football team. It's important for them to be able to weather the storm early and get back into football games. There's 11 rookies on the 53-man squad, 31 players with 3 years less experience. So they're growing as a football team, and they continue to win football games late on. They're going to grow in confidence, and I think they'll be a force to be reckoned with as the season goes on.
Miami will go conservative here. Despite the fact that they had 3 timeouts left, Fiedler takes a knee, and that will be the end of the first half. It's been a weird one. Two teams at 3-2 coming off their bye weeks. Miami trying to forget what happened against the Jets. Seattle just trying to keep it moving after back-to-back victories before the bye. End of the first half. Seattle 14, Miami 10. We'll send you to Jim Nantz in New York. Leading the Miami Dolphins 14-10. We'll come back. Second half action is just around the corner. The NFL on CBS will continue after this. Third quarter, Seattle leading Miami 14-10. We welcome you back to Husky Stadium. Ian Eagle along with Solomon Wilcott. Let's talk a little bit about the storylines coming in and take stock in what's happened in this first half. Matt Hasselbeck, initial storyline. Mike Holmgren, did he make the right decision to go with Hasselbeck over Trent Dilfer, who has been the starter and has been successful? Your thoughts on Hasselbeck?
Well, they clearly came in wanting to run the football with Sean Alexander, but because of the two fumbles by Alexander in the first half, they had to rely on the arm of Matt Hasselbeck. He's made some plays, I think, avoiding the sack and throwing for 2 touchdowns in the first half. So he's been making some really good decisions, and he has his team, brought him back from a 10-point deficit, has his team on top here at halftime.
Storyline for Miami coming in. Could they put out of their minds that loss to the Jets, another crushing defeat to New York? And Jay Fiedler, can he cut down the interceptions, the turnovers overall? Well, that question was answered in the first quarter.
Jay Fiedler came into this game having thrown 7 interceptions in his last 4 games. In the first quarter alone, in this game today against the Seahawks, 2 more interceptions. So, of course, the injury bug is, I should say the turnover bug has continued to hurt this football team, and Jay Fiedler has to do a better job of protecting the ball, and also 1 fumble. So 3 turnovers right now in the first half for the Miami Dolphins.
Let's talk about the fumbles on the Seattle side of things as well with Sean Alexander. One was a clear fumble, but the one that they called a fumble previous, you and I both thought, and obviously I can't speak for everybody at home watching this, it appeared that he was down.
I think the pictures clearly showed that he was down before the ball came out. Zach Thomas was tugging at the football when Sean Alexander was on the ground. No way this should have been ruled a fumble. I think what really is a big thing is that the officials went and they reviewed it and looked at the replay and still ruled it a fumble. I don't understand the call there.
Obviously, with Bob McElwee, his point will be that there wasn't conclusive enough evidence to overturn the call. The call live was it is a fumble, and that's what they stuck with, even though McElwee at first misspoke, came onto the field, told the Seattle crowd that they were indeed going to overturn it. Went back to the sideline, came back and changed the call. It was the first reversal of a reversal I've ever seen. That's a double negative. Somewhere in there is a double negative. I know that.
Well, it was quite strange. There's no doubt. 5 turnovers in the first half by both teams combined. And, you know, both teams are coming off a bye week. So just poor execution, I think, on both sides. I think as both teams have now warmed up, I think we're going to see a better football game here in the second half, because you know what? They're going to need to play good football. Of course, the Miami Dolphins had gotten behind. I should say they got on top of the Jets 2 weeks ago, up by 17 points, allowed the Jets to come back and score 21 unanswered points. So Dave Wannstedt is looking for a better football game from his football team here in the second half.
Well, Matt Hasselbeck, he knew there was pressure on him coming into this matchup. Mike Holmgren has stepped forward and basically told everyone that Hasselbeck is the guy. Now, while he has at least opened the window in case Hasselbeck struggles, Trent Dilfer will get an opportunity, but Hasselbeck felt the pressure. He came through in the first half.
Well, he came in, he told us, he says, hey, I'm feeling the pressure to do well, and the thing that he wanted to do, he wanted to avoid taking the sacks and wanted to avoid throwing interceptions. So far today, he's been able to do at least both of those things. He has been sacked today, but hasn't been really his fault. Some of the pass protection has broken down, but he's made good decisions in the red zone, avoiding the turnovers, and I think that's key for this young football team here in Seattle.
And Hasselbeck has been hampered by a groin injury. Ironically enough, Trent Dilfer then suffered a groin injury in that win against Denver 2 weeks ago. But Dilfer is the #2 quarterback here today, and Heward is listed as the emergency QB. On the kickoff, Charlie Rogers, the deep man. And Rogers is met at the 20, spins forward to the 23-yard line. Brian Walker with the tackle. A 20-yard return. Take a look at the halftime numbers in what was an entertaining first half here at Husky Stadium. Rushing, neither team has been able to establish that ground game, Solomon.
Yeah, and both teams, look at that, a combined 5 turnovers, 3 for the Miami Dolphins. They came into this game having turned the ball over 13 times and then give it back to Seattle another 3 times here today. So they're going to have to do a better job of protecting the football. Seattle, they have to do a better job of not only protecting the ball, but running the ball with Sean Alexander.
On first down, Alexander running up the middle for a gain of 2, but Zach Thomas was prepared and applied the smack.
It's important that they come out first play here in the second half and give the ball to Sean Alexander and show they have some confidence in the young running back. Of course, Zach Thomas is getting into the hole, and he delivers a really good hit and wraps up on Sean and makes the tackle.
We asked Thomas about Alexander. He said on film, he's a lot faster than he looks. It's effortless. That's a word you often hear to describe Alexander. Throw underneath, turning it upfield is Jackson. And Darrell Jackson has himself a first down, 10 yards off the curl.
Jackson is a young receiver. He's impressed me because he has a good feel for the passing game as a young receiver. He finds the hole in this defense, and then he's able to make Zach Thomas miss and pick up some additional yards after the game. You hear coaches talk about yards after the catch because you're going to have to sit down in front of that defense and then pick up some additional yards. And you can see the 5'11", 199-pound second-year receiver been very productive in his 2 seasons here with the Seattle Seahawks.
He led all NFL rookies in receptions last year. The numbers have been modest this year. Hasselbeck forced to scramble and finds an angle to the outside. At least gets something out of the play, 3 yards. And that's something Matt Hasselbeck told us. First 3 games as the starter, the thought of a 2nd and 7 or a 3rd and 6 troubled him. He was trying to make that big play. Well, today he's accepted a 2nd and 7 or a 3rd and 5.
And he's not forcing the football into tight situations where there's a possibility of throwing an interception. He says, you know what, I can't be afraid to punt the football. Sometimes punting isn't so bad. It beats the alternative in terms of trying to force the ball in there and turning it over.
Now it is a 2nd and 7. Miami crowds the line. Hasselbeck looking to throw it. Pressure is there. Hasselbeck on the move. Struggling to get away and throws it low for Christian Fourier. Flag comes down. It was incomplete. Derek Rogers and Darrell Gardner applied that pressure. And another penalty flag against Miami, and a loose shoe on the field as well.
Holding, number 52 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the rookie out of Syracuse, Moreland Greenwood.
Matt Hasselbeck, he came in, he spent the last couple of weeks on the sideline nursing that growing injury and still able to get away from defensive linemen. It shows you how mobile the quarterback is. He told us he could have played in those games against Jacksonville and Denver. I don't know if the coaches felt the same way.
Also told us that he was very close to becoming a Dolphin. We'll tell you about that in a moment on 1st and 10. Alexander. Sean Alexander trying to find a groove on the ground. Steve Hutchinson with a block up front, the left guard, creating space for an 11-yard scamper.
And we told you how this Dolphin defense has been wearing down in the second half, and this is just an off-tackle play. The offensive line for Seattle just dominating on the blocking up front. Sean Alexander just following that blocking right off tackle on the left side, where you have the likes of Steve Hutchinson at the guard position and Walter Jones. And that's what you could expect Seattle to do here in the second half, is try to wear down this Dolphins defense, particularly the middle of that defensive line.
46-yard line. 1st and 10 now in Miami territory. Short drop and a quick throw to Fourier. Christian Fourier across the 40. Zach Thomas, the linebacker, defending the tight end. It's a gain of 7.
Here is the Dolphins defense as opposed to the first half. You can see giving up 67 points in the second half, and teams have been able to just increase their yardage against them. They've been able to wear down. You can see 305 yards. That's where you really get physical with the football team. And Dave Wannstedt challenged his defensive tackles. Tim Bowens and Darrell Gardner said, hey, you guys have to be stout in the middle for 4 quarters in order for us to win.
Jay Graham is in for Alexander, and Graham gets the call. He fooled no one. Terry Cousin came firing in on a corner blitz, and it's a loss of 3.
And this play was headed right up the middle, and this is another way of helping out your defense because Cousins comes right off the corner. You can see the hole is right there. Of course, Strong isn't able to make it to the hole because Cousins comes in off the corner making a play, and that's what you have to do as a defense. some time to help your defensive linemen. If you can bring defensive backs like Terry Cousins off the corner and get an extra player at the point of attack, it goes a long way in helping your defense.
3rd and 5 now. You see what Seattle has done on 3rd down so far today. A 4-receiver set. Line of scrimmage just shy of the 41. Out of the shotgun, Hasselbeck. Throwing and complete. Bobby Ingram brings it in right at the marker, and it should be enough for a 1st down. So Matt Hasselbeck has been making the throws.
Absolutely. This is a good throw. He's misfired to Ingram a few times. He's been open constantly on 3rd down. And Ingram has been the productive man all season long on 3rd down for this Seahawks offense. And here he gets down low. It's not a perfectly thrown ball, but certainly a catchable ball. And you get it close to Bobby Ingram. He's the veteran of this young wide receiver group, and he makes the catch and picks up the 1st down. 7 straight completions for Matt Hasselbeck, a new career high in yards and touchdowns in a game. And now a 1st and 10 for this Seattle offense from the 35. Handoff. Alexander broke 1 tackle initially, but couldn't get through that 2nd wave, but he does gain 5. Now let's finish off on this Hasselbeck story. He told us Ron Wolf informed him, man running the Green Bay Packers, that if Miami had called 30 seconds earlier on the day they did the deal with Seattle, that he would have been a Dolphin. And he said either way it would have been a good situation. Of course, both teams have really good defenses, but he's ended up, I think, in a really good situation under Mike Holmgren, a quarterback coach who can really teach you a lot of things about the position. And I expect Matt Hasselbeck to continue to get better, not just from year to year, but from game to game. Rollout, 2nd and 5. The throw was off to the side, but Neely made the play on it. He went down off to his left to bring it in cleanly. It's a modest gain of 1. And more on Matt Hasselbeck working in the West Coast offense. There's been a number of quarterbacks who've struggled early in this offense, but once you get everything down and you have the other players around you, your receivers and running backs, to mature and grow with you in this offense, proven to be highly productive. You only look at Jeff Garcia in San Francisco from his 1st year to 2nd year, throwing for over 4,000 yards in that offense. So that's the potential working in this offense. On a 3rd and 4, Alexander trying to get to the outside. Alexander tucks it inside, and a 1st down for Seattle inside the 25. Brian Walker was faked out on the play. And now the Seahawks have good balance working. They've completed a few passes with Matt Hasselbeck, and then they come back to the run. We saw the off-tackle play by Alexander earlier in the drive, and here you see him again, able to get outside and cutting up that Miami defense, and they get the block there on Zach Thomas. That clears the way for Alexander to make it to the 2nd level into the secondary and pick up the 1st down. And a new set of downs to work with for Seattle. On a 1st and 10 from the 24, Alexander looking for some space and stumbles forward. Maybe for most running backs, that's no gain on the play, maybe even a loss, but he is finding the openings for a gain of 5. And here you see the deceptive speed that Zach Thomas was talking about. Watch how he sets up the defensive end, Jason Thomas, and cuts right underneath the block of Walter Jones in order to get into the secondary once again on the 2nd straight run. Alexander doing a good job of setting up the defenders and picking his holes and reading the blocks of his offensive line. How about this drive to open play in the 3rd quarter? They've had the football more than 7 minutes. 2nd and 5 now from the 19. Inside handoff. Alexander is brought down by Cousin, again rushing. And Cousin has been very active here today, a gain of 1. It's going to be interesting to see what Mike Holmgren will call, because this is the 2nd time Terry Cousins has come off the corner to try to shut down that running game. That's what the Dolphins have done to adjust. Deshaun Alexander creasing them up the middle in the running game, so they're bringing an extra defender off the corner, make the tackle in the back of the end zone, and now let's see if Holmgren will come back with a boot or a waggle, some type of pass play to beat the blitzing defense and see if they can find a guy wide open in the secondary. A 3rd and 4 from the 18. Hasselbeck, short drop, quick throw to the sideline, and it's knocked away by Surtain. Patrick Surtain upset that he didn't pick it and take it the other way. Bobby Ingram was the target on the far side. He certainly had an opportunity to make a play. This ball's just thrown outside, inside of the receiver, Bobby Ingram. You have to lead him a little bit better, and Surtain had an opportunity to pick that one off and take it to the house. I'll tell you what, if Ingram was able to haul that one in and the ball was put where it had to be, that's 7 points. That's right. There was no deep help there. 36-yard attempt now. Lindell missed one earlier. Ryan Lindell leans into it and connects.
extending the Seattle lead. Seahawks 17. Dolphins will get the football for the first time in the third quarter. Ryan Lindell, 36-yard field goal. You see what Hasselbeck did on the drive, 4 of 5 throwing the football. They get the field goal, and they lead it now 17-10 over Miami. Chris Chambers catching at the 12. And Chambers is brought down after he crosses the 30-yard line. Kazavinsky again making the stop on special teams. Dolphins 3-2, Seahawks 3-2. And a tight one here in the third quarter, 6:36 to go at Husky Stadium. Miami with the football. Fiedler pump fake. Fiedler throw and too high. He had McKnight open. Willie Williams got separated from the intended receiver.
And Fiedler goes with the pump fake, but he had McKnight wide open. He just overshoots this pass. Fiedler has to settle down. Talked about it, trusting his anticipation. You can see the slip just a little bit, but came up and regained his position, just overthrew the pass. You can see the stop fake there. He has Williams beat right now. He's wide open, ball just overthrown. James McKnight.
Jay Fiedler has had success as a starter, 14-7 record overall. Handoff, Smith. And they have got nothing from the running game. No gain for Lamar Smith, who returns to the Seattle area, first time since 1997. Back in December of 1994, Lamar Smith, driving under the influence, was involved in a car accident that left his then teammate Mike Fryer paralyzed. Smith remained on with the Seattle Seahawks. Fryer paralyzed from the waist up, now living in the Atlanta area.
He has since paid reparations, if you will, to Mike Fryer, and Fryer says, you know what, he's held up to his end of the deal.
A percentage of his salary, Lamar Smith, goes into the pocket of Mike Fryer at the end of the year. Fiedler, deep ball, one-on-one coverage, sideline, and caught by Chambers. He beat Ken Lucas on the play. Down at the 24. 53 yards through the air.
The Dolphins are going to put a number of receivers out on the field. Jay Fiedler told us yesterday, he says, we think we can go after the young cornerback Ken Lucas, who was in position, but you can see he just falls down, doesn't maintain his footing. Chambers does and is able to make the catch, but the Dolphins believe that they can go after the rookie cornerback Ken Lucas and make big plays, just like what you just saw there.
Second round pick out of Mississippi got beat on that play by a fellow rookie out of Wisconsin. On a handoff, it's Miner in there for Smith, and Miner is brought down quickly, a gain of 1. Michael Sinclair will be given credit for the tackle.
Give Sinclair credit for containing a very quick Travis Miner, who appeared to show you some quickness on that play. It looked like he was going to be able to get outside, but Sinclair was there to make the tackle.
It'll be 2nd and 9. Clock is moving, under 5 minutes to go now in the third. Seattle has had 1 possession in this second half. This is Miami's first possession. 2 long drives for these teams. Dolphins down by 7. Fiedler, long count. Straight back. And a quick throw brought in by Weaver. And Jed Weaver extends his body to the 11-yard line. Maurice Kelly with a tackle, a 12-yard gain, and another first down for Miami.
And on this play, the Seahawks are in man coverage. Kelly shows it. He comes up, but he doesn't take Jed Weaver. He's in man-to-man coverage. He has to come up and jump on the man that he's covering right away. Left Weaver wide open. Fiedler found him right away.
So they can still get a first down. Line of scrimmage is the 11. Jay Fiedler, you see the numbers today. The 2 interceptions came in the first quarter. Smith is back on the field for Miami with Conrad in front of him. Motion man McKnight. Smith gets the call. Lamar Smith nowhere to run. Up the gut for a gain of 3.
More on Lamar Smith. When he played here in Seattle, Sean Springs talked to us about Lamar Smith and said they called him Big Back because he was so hard to tackle. He would work against the first-team defense. They say he was very difficult to tackle, would often embarrass the first-team defense and make them go through more tackling drills. But he was very productive here when he played with the Seahawks.
mostly a backup. They had high hopes for him. It never materialized. He goes on to New Orleans, and then last year has the breakout season with Miami. Play action. Off the bootleg. Fiedler looking to throw. Now trying to run it. And zigzags his way inside the 5. Out of bounds, just shy of the 2. That's a 6-yard scramble for Jay Fiedler.
It appeared as though Jay Fiedler had a receiver wide open. Let's watch James McKnight as he'll just curl right in this area of the field. Fiedler doesn't trust himself, doesn't trust what he sees. He told us that he needs to trust what he sees and trust his anticipation. Of course, they've turned the ball over 4 times down the red zone so far this season. That time he elected not to try to get the ball to James McKnight, who was wide open.
They can still get a first down. It's a 3rd and 1 inside the 5 for Miami. On a handoff, Smith puts the helmet down, trying to churn the legs forward. And Lamar King, first man to get him. But it is enough for a first down. It'll be a 1st and goal for this Dolphin offense.
You get into the red zone, you're going to have to rely on your offensive line to create a new line of scrimmage. Get the push up front. You can see they get some movement up front, creating room to get the first down. Lamar Smith able to get on the other side of the 1-yard line. Good job that time by the Miami Dolphins offensive line. We talked about them needing to play strong in the second half and developing more physical mindset, and they come out and done that so far, particularly on this drive.
Dolphins medical staff had come running onto the field. It looked like Todd Wade was injured on the play, and now Wade is being helped off. Wade came in with a bum knee to begin with, and a question mark as to whether or not he would even start this game. So the veteran Harry Swain, in his 15th year out of Rutgers, would step in. Also, short yardage situation, Ray Lucas has come onto the field. The Lucas in at quarterback. Wanstead has used this formation before. He trusts Ray Lucas and the versatility in this scenario. 1st and goal from the 1. Movement. Seattle jumped on that left side. Michael Sinclair. Now, whether or not he was teased off.
Number 70,
he wasn't.
Defense. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Well, maybe it's worth the gamble. You're at the 1-yard line, so they go half the distance.
Let's watch it and see if you get any movement on the offensive line. Was he pulled off? See Sinclair right in this area. He jumps off all by himself.
That's a little leapfrog.
Trying to anticipate. But he's playing the role of the lawyer, trying to sell.
3 tight end set, 1st and goal, trying to run it up the gut. And the Seahawks claim they've stopped them. Still no word at the goal line.
Miami that time goes on a quick count, trying to catch the Seahawk defenders sleeping. They weren't quite ready, but the quick count, we don't know if they got in. Appears as though they didn't.
So they come up a little bit short. It'll be 2nd and goal now, inside the 1. Tough to tell. As Seattle then crowded the line. Lucas will get another opportunity. On 2nd and goal.
Be careful sneaking a tight end into the back of the end zone on a pass play.
Motion man Conrad. Lucas again trying to force his way in and denied. Seahawks defensively came charging through. Chad Eden among those there.
That time the Seahawks defensive line creating a new line of scrimmage, pushing the Miami Dolphins offensive line back. This is the line of scrimmage right there. Let's see who wins, who gets the push. Von Kirkland coming over the top at 290 pounds. He's just like an extra defensive lineman. Very quick, agile linebacker, but he comes with a lot of power.
3rd opportunity. 17-10, Seattle leading it. Under a minute to go now in the 3rd. 3rd and goal for this Miami offense. Lucas under center. Handoff. 2nd effort by Lamar Smith. Did he get there? Still no indication. He didn't. Officials mark him down short of the goal line.
It looks like his head crosses the line of scrimmage, but does the ball cross the goal line? And that's what you need to look at. It's going to come right at you, right into your living room. Lamar Smith is going to bounce this off the right side. Let's see where the ball is. And it right there on the line. Does it break the plane? I think so.
I thought so. Wow. They're going for it on 4th down.
They're going to challenge. They've already thrown down the red flag. Ronstadt's going to challenge this one. I think we have clear evidence that that ball did cross the goal line.
Well, they just saw the same replay in the coach's booth that we saw. The ball has to break the plane. His body doesn't have to end up in the end zone. Just a question of the ball. 7 seconds to go in the 3rd and a coach's challenge.
Miami is challenging the ruling on the field that they did not score a touchdown.
So Bob McElwee will take a closer look at this one, and we will show you once again Lamar Smith making his attempt.
Now there's official standing right down here, and he has the same angle that we have, and you can see there's the line. Look at the ball. It's right there on the line of no knees down, so it clearly breaks the plane of the goal line. I think they're going to call this a touchdown.
Well, we thought before they weren't going to call it a fumble on Sean Alexander. So
yes, we can never be too sure, despite what the pictures tell us, and that's why we have instant replay, is to help the officials get it right down on the field.
Levon Kirkland was among those trying to drag Lamar Smith and stop him short of the goal line. Chad Brown also involved. Give the Seattle defense credit for not allowing Miami to make easy pickings of this score.
And now how big is the call, the encroachment call on defensive end Mike Sinclair, who gave him another ½ inch on the penalty, and that's what they get in by right here. We're of course still waiting for the call from the official, but you know, every inch is important. Coaches talk about it, and that's why you don't want to give an offensive football team anything. You want to make them earn it.
Well, Miami tried with Ray Lucas on back-to-back plays of the quarterback sneak up the middle. It didn't work. They finally go to their big back Lamar Smith, and this is what Bob McElwee has to look at.
There's the ball right there. He got.
After reviewing the play, it is a touchdown.
Well, they got it right. We saw the pictures. I think it was clear from what we saw. Of course, our guys in the truck doing a good job, our cameramen picking up the fact that the ball did cross the plane of the goal line.
3rd rushing touchdown of the year for Lamar Smith. And the Dolphins are an extra point away from tying this one up at 17-17. 7 seconds left in the 3rd. Olindo Mare. Turk will hold it. Perry will snap it. And we're all knotted up. 11 plays, 67-yard drive. 17-17. Fast-moving 3rd quarter. Lamar Smith given credit for that 1-yard touchdown run. They hold on to the football 6 minutes and 38 seconds and tie this game up. Mare on the kick. Rodgers from the 10. Rodgers stumbling a bit and then brought down just shy of the 30-yard line as time has expired at the end of the 3rd quarter. Dolphins 17, Seahawks 17. We're coming back to Seattle after these messages and a word. Opening up the 4th quarter here in Seattle. 17-17, the Dolphins and the Seahawks all tied up. Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcots, and the rest of our CBS crew with you. Hasselbeck throwing on 1st down. Timing pattern, sideline throw. And incomplete. Darrell Jackson in a matchup with Patrick Surtain.
Patrick Surtain right there to make a good play on the ball, but Matt Hasselbeck said we're going to challenge these cornerbacks, both Sam Madison and Surtain having 5 interceptions 1 year ago, really ranking very high as 2 of the best, I should say among the best cornerback tandems in the National Football League. But Hasselbeck and his young receiver core, they're going after the experienced cornerbacks of the Miami Dolphins.
Each team had only 1 possession in that 3rd quarter. Each team scoring. Up the middle for Sean Alexander for a pickup of 4. And it will be 3rd and 6. NFL.com, our poll question of the surprise teams this year, which one, in your opinion, has the best shot of going the distance? Bears, Bengals, Browns, Chargers, Niners, or the Steelers. Just log on and cast your vote at NFL.com.
I like the Chargers. They can run the ball, and of course with Doug Flutie, wouldn't bet against them.
On a 3rd and 6 now. Spread formation. Shotgun for Hasselbeck. Steps up and goes. On a crossing route. Connects to Bobby Ingram and a 1st down. Out to the 43-yard line. Gain of 10. And this drive will continue.
And Ingram continues to make plays for his quarterback, Matt Hasselbeck, showing a great deal of confidence. See him pushing in and then pushing right out, working against the cornerback, Terry Cousins. That's just a really good play. Bobby Ingram, big-time player on 3rd down for this offense, keeping the chains moving.
Signed a 1-year deal with this Seattle team when Mike Holmgren recognized they needed a veteran presence in that wide receiving group. Sean Alexander tried to hit the hole, but Tim Bowens didn't allow much space. 2-yard gain.
Now let's see if the interior part of that defensive line for the Miami Dolphins can hold up against the run, because this is what Dave Wannstedt has challenged Tim Bowens and Daryl Gardner, and says, hey, you guys got to make plays, and it's in the 4th quarter. This is money time for this football team, and it rests on the shoulders of that defensive line, because Seattle's going to run the ball right at them.
Now a full receiver set on a 2nd and 8. Ball spotted just shy of the 45. Darrell Jackson set up in the backfield, and Hasselbeck turns it over. Intercepted by Surtain. Patrick Surtain down the sideline, remains on his feet for the score. It's being ruled incomplete. Back at the spot of the pick.
You know, sometimes you play with fire, you can get burned. We talk about challenging these very talented cornerbacks for the Miami Dolphins. Patrick Surtain, 5 interceptions
Pass
a year
is
ago.
ruled incomplete. Hit the ground.
53-yard return is negated.
It was very late. We didn't hear a whistle. I think the officials determined late, but you could see the ball clearly hit the ground. He trapped it there. And he played the part, acting the role as the interceptor, getting up and taking it back to the end zone.
But despite the fact that Seattle holds on to the football, one storyline that emerges, Hasselbeck goes to the sideline, and Mike Holmgren lets him know what he thought of that play. And Hasselbeck was trying to back himself up.
He was none too happy.
Now a 3rd and 8. So Seattle avoids disaster there. Still have some work to do. Hasselbeck throwing. Sidearm pass. Caught cleanly, no. Flag down. It would have been shy of a 1st down anyway for Corin Robinson. And a penalty marker on the play.
Corin Robinson's working against Ben Kelly. They're going to call Kelly for pass interference.
Defensive pass interference number 20. Automatic 1st down.
And a huge break for Seattle. It's a play that would not have resulted in a 1st down even if it was clean.
Now, these Dolphin cornerbacks, they play very aggressive bump and run coverage, and Mike Holmgren said he was going to talk to the officials before today's game and say, hey, you can't allow them to make contact with our receivers. I don't know if that shows us that there was much contact made prior to the arrival of the ball.
Dolphins defense, that's not a stat that you want to be leading the NFL in. Most 1st downs allowed by penalty. And that's part of this identity crisis they're going through right now, trying to rediscover that magic of last year. 1st and 10 for Seattle. On the draw play, Alexander dancing a bit. Alexander could not make it to the outside. 3 yards. He did a lot of work. Terry Cousins, 1st man there.
And I thought on that play, Sean could have done a better job of pressing the line of scrimmage. The hole was there, but he's looking to bounce it out. And Mike Holmgren says Sean's got to do a better job of taking what the defense will give him and not look to make the home run or break the big play on every time he touches the football. And that time I thought he could have done a better job of pressing the line of scrimmage.
Had those 2 fumbles in the 1st half. He has held on to the football here in the 2nd half. But the production has not been there as in the previous 2 games. Stumbling forward to the 45-yard line. 3-yard pickup. Cousin again involved in the stop. And they continue to go to Alexander. 20+ carries once again.
And they also continue to attack the interior part of the defensive line for the Miami Dolphins. That time picking up a gain, and that's what Seattle want. They said we want to come in and get into 3rd and short situations, not force Matt to have to convert the 3rd long situations. Now they're looking at a 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4 and a 5 wide receiver look. 11.5 remaining in the fourth. Dolphins and Seahawks tied at 17. Hasselbeck throwing, finds a seam, wide open, Robinson. And a first down to the 25. 19-yard pass play.
Robinson was wide open. Look and see what happens here. They play a cover 2, and they expect Zach Thomas to play the middle part of that defense because they want to keep the safeties over the top, and Zach doesn't get back, and Matt Hasselbeck looks him off just a little bit, and Robinson comes wide open over the middle of the field.
So now a 1st and 10 of the 25. Robinson has been involved in the offense today. 3 catches, 40 yards. Another long drive for the Seattle offense. And Alexander breaks a tackle. And finally, Miami was able to wrap him up, collaborating Surtain and Greenwood. 2-yard gain.
And that time, Miami defense was good at the point of attack. Nearly had Alexander trapped at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. Allowed him to bounce outside where he only picks up 2 yards on the play.
2nd and 8. 10th play of the drive. Using up clock once again. This is only the 3rd possession of the second half. Hasselbeck, deep drop. Pump fake. Hasselbeck loses the football. And fortunately for Seattle, Chris Gray was able to jump on it. Lorenzo Bromell knocked it loose in a loss of 11.
And that's where Matt has to do a better job of, I think, filling the pressure in the pocket. Something he's been doing a pretty good job of most of the day. But he never sees Bromell coming, doesn't see Bowens, and he doesn't protect the football. It's just a good play of hustling by Chris Gray to recover the ball and help his team keep the football.
4th sack for this Miami defense. Now a 3rd and 19. Trent Dilfer watching from the sideline. This is Matt Hasselbeck's game to win or lose. Stepping forward, Hasselbeck underneath, getting back some of the yardages. Jackson. And that shake and bake move gets him to the 25. A gain of 9, and giving Ryan Lindell an easier try on the field goal attempt, trying to give Seattle the 3-point lead.
Matt had some scary moments on that drive. The near interception by Patrick Surtain, and then the sack and the fumble. They're able to keep the ball in both cases. So protecting the football, we see where it's been very important for both football teams, because when they've turned it over, it's cost them dearly.
43-yard attempt for Lindell. Seattle trying to go back in front. Fiegel's the holder. Lindell's kick is good. 20-17, the Seahawks lead it over Miami. 8:37 remaining. We're in the 4th quarter. We're coming back after this. Seahawks 20, Dolphins 17. Welcome back to Seattle, everybody. Ian Eagle, Solomon Wilcots. Final 8:37 showing on the clock here in the 4th. Lindell on the kickoff. Chambers ranging over to get it. Zigzagging through traffic. And then forced out of bounds after he crossed the 30-yard line. It's an 18-yard return. Kazavinsky once again making the stop on special teams in a 3-point game. 20, Miami 17, 8:29 to go in the 4th quarter, and the Dolphins have the football, a 1st and 10 at their own 33. Jay Fiedler got off to the slow start. He has picked it up in their most recent drives. Good ball. Fiedler throwing on the run, setting it up nicely for McKnight. And McKnight is spilled out shy of the marker by Anthony Simmons, again involved in pass defense. 6-yard gain.
It's just a bootleg out route by James McKnight, but you see the speed of the linebacker Anthony Simmons, able to run down a very fast and very quick receiver like McKnight, making the tackle on the sideline.
James McKnight had a big year last season for Dallas, his best as a pro. 52 catches, 926 yards. The numbers have not been as impressive this year in a Dolphin uniform. On 2nd and 4, handoff, Lamar Smith, and driven back. Gain of 1 as everybody was involved defensively for Seattle. NFL Today update. We're going to New York right now.
All right, Ian, thank you. The Broncos were down 20-10, but Greasy throws 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, 65 yards to Rod Smith, and this one to Carswell for the lead. They're on to the 4th quarter, 13 minutes to play. Broncos up 24-20.
And Jim, it begs the question, does Tom Brady have another comeback left in it after the magic that he showed 2 weeks ago against San Diego. Fiedler throwing on 3rd down. Out pattern. It's caught. Chris Chambers. And he turns it into a big gainer down the sideline, covering 21 yards. Ken Lucas missed him on the tackle.
Right now, the Dolphins, their offense, they're making plays just attacking Ken Lucas. He's the rookie working up top right there against Chris Chambers, and he's in a position to make a play, but you're not going to knock down the ball. You have to still maintain position to make the tackle. You're going to go for the ball, that's fine, but you have to maintain a good position to prevent yards after the catch.
1st and 10 from the Seattle 39. Conrad, the motion man. Handoff to Smith, who's been struggling here today, and Smith is stopped for no gain. He's been averaging, Lamar Smith, under 2 yards a carry this afternoon.
But of course, he's going up against a very tough run defense in the Seattle Seahawks. They're ranked 5th against the run in the National Football League. And they're plugging it up the middle, forcing Lamar Smith to bounce, and that's where they have the speed of linebackers like Chad Brown and Anthony Simmons who can secure the tackle on the edges. 17 carries for Smith, 29 yards. Seattle's rush defense has been tremendous today. 2nd and 10. Fiedler back to throw, pump fake. Fiedler looking for it all. Up in the air and caught. Touchdown, James McKnight. He beat Willie Williams, and the former Seahawk has helped give Miami the lead. Jay Fiedler makes a play for his football team, and this is just a speed route. He'll go right up in the middle and get inside leverage. And once he gets inside of Williams, he does a good job of shielding off the cornerback. This ball is excellent, thrown over the top where McKnight can make a play on it. I think McKnight does a good job of shielding off the defender, Willie Williams, who tried to come over the top and couldn't get his arm up enough to reach and knock down the ball.
Extra point, Mare. Williams got the better of the matchup earlier, the chess match with Fiedler. It's Fiedler that might get the last laugh. Dolphins lead it. Jay Fiedler, 3 of 3 on that drive. He accounted for 66 of the 67 yards. McKnight, 39-yard touchdown reception, his 2nd of the season. And it's the Dolphins in front, 24-20 over Seattle. We expected defense, defense, defense. Second half, we're getting offense, offense, offense.
We've seen a better played football game here in the second half, avoiding the penalties and the turnovers.
Olindo Mara kicks it off. Charlie Rogers, the return man for Seattle. Rogers trying to bust it to the outside. And he couldn't do it. Brought down to the 25 by Cousin. 18-yard return. Miami has the lead, but Seattle does have the football with 6:05 left. Dolphins 24, Seahawks 20, bridging the first and second half. Seattle has scored on its last 4 possessions.
Those 2 touchdowns, that was in the first half, and only been able to get field goals here in the second half. They're going to need a touchdown here starting at their own 25-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Seahawks. 6:05 to go in the 4th. Dolphins and the Seahawks, both teams looking to improve to 4-2. Hasselbeck under duress. Hasselbeck rolls out, throws, and incomplete. That pocket collapsed on him because of Bowens and Mixon getting into the face, or at least to the side, of Hasselbeck.
And the Miami Dolphins, they like to run a very aggressive cover 2 defense, but you can see Zach Thomas, he's working the middle of the field. They're trying to get the receiver right there. That's, of course, they're trying to get the receiver behind them. That would be Robinson, Corin Robinson, trying to get behind the linebacker in the middle of the field. They've been able to convert earlier in the ball game with that play, but right there, I think because of the pressure, didn't have time for the play to develop.
Hasselbeck's numbers, he's been solid here today. By far the best game he has played as a Seahawk in the regular season. On 2nd and 10, Hasselbeck again flushed out. Pressure being applied, flag is blown. And it's incomplete. Fourier, the intended receiver. Bromell among those chasing down Hasselbeck. It'll be a hold on Seattle. So that pressure that hasn't really been there for this Dolphins defense in recent weeks, it's been there today.
And it's interesting that the Seahawks have enough time here.
Holding number 76, offense, 10 yards, 2nd down.
They have enough time here to put together a drive, mixing in run and pass plays, come out, throw the ball in the first 2 plays of the drive. But as you can see, the hold right there by number 76. That's Steve Hutchinson, the left guard. They caught him. That's why Seattle's going to have to make some plays here now. 2nd and long, and have to do a better job.
2nd and 20 for Seattle from their own 15. On the give, Alexander has not gotten a long run today, and it'll stay that way. It's a pickup of 3. Bromell involved in the stop. And one of the themes this week in South Florida, Solomon, how much does this Miami defense miss the presence of Trace Armstrong? At least today, that hasn't been the issue.
Well, I think they've missed him big time. He, of course, led the team with 16.5 sacks on the defensive end position. But on the other side, Jason Taylor had 14.5. Only comes into today's game with 2 sacks, so teams are able to slide the line towards Jason Taylor. But they also miss his leadership and presence in the locker room.
And a big 3rd down, 3rd and 17. Hasselbeck tossing it up high and dropped. Bobby Ingram. He had nobody in front of him, and a clear 1st down ahead is denied.
Bobby Ingram, we talked about how sure-handed he's been. He's so wide open. Just have to get himself in a position to catch the football. He gets turned around, gets up in the air, and not able to secure the football. Mike Holmgren can only stand and watch, and the disappointment on the face of Matt Hasselbeck.
Hasselbeck made the throw. Ingram could not bring it in. And that is a killer. Fiegel's on the punt. Ogden waiting. He fumbled earlier. And this time the Washington State native will bring it in and accept the fair catch. Mike Holmgren. It comes down to a couple plays, especially when you're in a tight one like this. The Seahawks, Ian Eagle and Solomon Wilcots. 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except in the Mountain and West Coast time zones. A 3-yard gain on 1st down.
And now with less than 5 minutes to play, if you're the Miami Dolphins, you got to be able to put this game away, and you're going to do so by running the ball with Lamar Smith, taking time off the clock and moving the chains. If you're Seattle, well, you got to shut down the run. You can't allow them to move the ball on the ground, force them to throw the ball and get off the field on 3rd down. Go 3 and out and get the ball back for your offense.
Dolphins leading it 24-20. Handoff again, it's Smith. And not much room for him to work with as he gains 1. Levon Kirkland with a stop. You can follow all the games on NFL.com, and after the games get in-depth analysis and recaps from the experts only at NFL.com or AOL keyword NFL.com. A crucial 3rd down and 6. Facing the Seattle defense. 4-receiver look. Under 4 minutes to go. Miami has been excellent on 3rd down conversions throughout the season. They are 7 of 10 today. Fiedler operating it out of the shotgun. McKnight the motion man. They'll flood that right side. Fiedler steps up, throws to the right, and it's brought in. James McKnight lost the football as he went out of bounds. Reggie Tong on the recovery. Can you believe that sequence? Fiedler thought he had a new set of downs, a chance to use up the clock. Was he out of bounds?
And McKnight is trying to put the ball past the 1st down marker. He leaves the ball on the ground and then goes out of bounds. It's a live football unless they blew the whistle. Let's watch McKnight. He's going to be on the left side of your screen. The ball is thrown to him. He makes the catch. Now he's trying to put the ball past. You can see the foot does go out of bounds, but he's hit. I don't know if they ruled he was out of bounds, but I clearly saw the right foot go out of bounds. It was on the white. But the ball remained inbounds. You can see it comes out right there and stayed in the field of play. And Reggie Tong picks it up and advances the ball back down the field.
Ike Charlton, 2nd year out of Virginia Tech, had the stick. They obviously did not rule him out of bounds because they allowed the Tong recovery.
I think the ball comes out before the foot is out of bounds.
So you think that's a live football?
I think it's a live football. The whistle had not blown, and he has to protect the football. McKnight cannot just put the ball on the ground.
Miami is challenging the ruling on the field that the player was not out of bounds, and the fumble recovery was ruled by the officials on the field.
Dave Wadstad is pointing in the direction of the big screen here at Husky Stadium and telling the officials, look, look at the screen. Well, Bob McElwee is going to look at a much smaller screen to determine whether or not Miami is going to hold on to this football.
I think we should take another look at it. Watch the right foot of James McKnight. See if it's out of bounds. Does it touch the white? The ball's out. And I don't think that's enough evidence to overturn the call.
That's bang bang, and I'm going with your initial instinct that this is a live football and a fumble.
The right foot, if it's out of bounds, when that ball comes out, look, the ball's out before the foot touches down out of bounds. That's ruled a fumble.
This game has 3 minutes and 34 seconds left in it. Miami is in front 24-20. We've had replays, we've had fumbles. Now we're having the replay off the fumble as we had earlier with Alexander. Turnovers. It's had a little bit of everything.
And this time I think the officials got it right. They ruled it a fumble. They allowed Reggie Tongue to advance the ball back up the field. The officials, look, he's right there. He's right on top of it. The ball comes out before that foot touches down. Look, the ball stays in the field of play.
It takes that perfect bounce for Seattle.
It's going to be interesting, but I think the officials were right on top of the play on that particular play. I think it's just good heads-up play by Ike Charlton and excellent heads-up play by the safety Reggie Tongue, who comes over and picks up the ball and runs it back.
That's on regular speed. It was Tongue on the recovery, and Fiedler actually slowed him down before Miami made the tackle. It would be the 4th Miami turnover.
And that's why I think instant replay is a good thing. I think it allows the officials at least a second chance to get it right. They did get it right on the initial call here, and I think the replay is going to show that that ball came out before his foot was out of bounds.
So the coach's challenge. Dave Wanstead wants Bob McElwee to look at it again. And Bob McElwee has now seen enough and will inform this group here in Seattle.
After reviewing the play, the ball was loose before the runner was out of bounds. It is successful fumble recovery, first down Seattle.
And that cost Miami a timeout. So only 2 timeouts left for the Dolphins. More importantly now for Seattle, they get the football back following the turnover. McKnight was just trying to make a play, extending his body for the first down. Instead, they give it up.
Yeah, McKnight was just making an effort play, but you have to give credit, I think, to both players. McKnight was just doing what comes, I think, it's just second nature to a receiver. He's trying to extend the ball, pick up the first down, and Ike Charlton, he comes by, make a really good hit. I think just a good football play defensively by Ike Charlton, and then another good defensive heads-up play by Reggie Tongue to secure the football and advance it up the football field.
McKnight scored the go-ahead touchdown for the Dolphins, but now the former Seahawk has coughed it up and has given his former team possession with 3:34 left on the clock. 4th Miami turnover and a 1st and 10 for the Seattle offense at the Miami 23. Hasselbeck play action, steps up. Hasselbeck looking to run it and brought down after a gain of 2 up the middle.
And that time, Matt did a really good job just protecting the ball. This man he was looking for is Darrell Jackson up the field, and he was covered by Patrick Surtain. He's able to move the ball up the field just a little bit, at least get inside the line of scrimmage and pick up 2 yards on the play, but he's got to protect the football. Don't turn it over at this point in the football game.
Counting down, 3 minutes left now in the 4th. Can Hasselbeck lead this team back? Hasselbeck pump fake. Hasselbeck almost was thrown down, throwing on the run, and too high. Jason Taylor was rushing him, and a flag down. Jackson having some words with Zach Thomas. And a penalty against the Dolphins.
Number 54 defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Pro Bowler Zach Thomas is calling.
Watch him working right here against Darrell Jackson. There's a little hold with the left hand there. The ball wasn't in the air at the time. It's just a little contact there, but certainly I think stopped Darrell Jackson from getting up the field a little bit further where he may have been able to make the reception. But Matt Hasselbeck did a good job of buying more time in the pocket. He was certainly under pressure there and was nearly sacked on the play, able to get out of out of the situation, escape, and buy more time and make the pass up the field.
Seattle has gotten 4 first downs off of Miami penalties. 8th penalty against the Dolphins. And now a 1st and 10 at the 16. Hasselbeck flags down before this play even develops. He was throwing quickly for Fourier.
Prior to the snap, false start, 62, offense. 5 yards, first down. Officials
Give, and officials taketh away. With 2:52 to go in the 4th.
That would be Chris Gray. This is where I think players on both sides have to be very smart. Don't hurt your football team by making mistakes. There were a lot of mistakes in the first half, fumbles and penalties. And now at a crucial point in the ball game, you want to play smart, play good sound football with fundamentals and good technique. Make a play for your football team. This is money time.
4-receiver look, 1st and 15 from the 21, draw play. Alexander stringing it up the middle. And he picks up 8 yards. Jason Taylor involved in the stop. Clock continues to roll.
Just a draw play by Sean Alexander, working inside the middle of that defense there. They find a soft spot. Good block by the center Tobic on Zach Thomas, clearing way for Sean Alexander.
2nd and 7 now. 2:22 left and counting in the 4th. Double tight end set, Fourier and Mealy. Robinson, the motion man. Hasselbeck steps up looking for it all. Incomplete. Robinson was the intended target. And Hasselbeck is upset.
It was pretty good coverage that time on the play. This would be Arturo Freeman. He's going for Corin Robinson, but on the backside, Darrell Jackson appeared to be open on that play behind Corin Robinson.
And now a 3rd and 6. Ball is spotted just shy of the 12. Probably 4 down territory. Look at the score. They're down by 4. 2:09 left. Hasselbeck steps up. Hasselbeck thought about throwing and now is brought down at the 10 by Jason Taylor, and that will take us to the 2-minute warning. It'll be a 4th and 4 yards when we return. Seattle down by 4. Dolphins 24, Seahawks 22 minutes to go here in the 4th. And the Seattle Seahawks facing a 4th down. A 4th and 4 from the 10-yard line. They've just made a decision to kick the field goal. Initially, Mike Holmgren was going for it. Now they will take the 3 points. Wanstead wants his team to be ready. There is shuffling of players in and out. Seattle still has 3 timeouts left. And with 2 minutes to go.
Have to be alert for a possible fake, but I don't know why you go for a field goal here and you have a chance to go for a touchdown and win the ball game. 3 is not going to be enough.
3 points and an onside kick. 28-yard attempt. Lindell. And he missed it. Ryan Lindell missed the field goal. Mike Holmgren's decision. And his kicker unable to cash in. On a 4th and 4, they decide to go for the 3. They don't even get that. Solomon, 2 issues. 1, Lindell missed the field goal. 2, why was he put in the position to even make the field goal down by 4?
Oh, this is the 2nd field goal he's missed in the game, and they missed it to the left as he did earlier, but I think they should have went for the touchdown. Give yourself a chance to win the football game. Too many things have to happen. He makes that field goal because they're still down by 1 point.
Lamar Smith, a 1-yard gain. Keep in mind as well, as Seattle uses a timeout, you don't even have to go for the touchdown. It was a 4th and 4. They still could keep that drive alive by just picking up the 4 yards.
Be aggressive.
We'll talk more about it after this break. Don't forget, 60 Minutes will be coming up next, except for those of you in the Mountain and West Coast time zones, with 1:51 to go. In the 4th, Dolphins trying to use up as much clock as possible. Up the middle again, and Lamar Smith is brought down by Kirkland. Seattle uses another timeout. They still have 1 remaining. Stop the clock with 1:44 to go. 24-20 Miami. got an NFL Today update right now. We're going to go to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, thank you, Ian. Tough times for Tom Brady, the Patriots quarterback. He's been picked 4 times in his last 10 attempts. Denard Walker will run this one back to give the Broncos the 11-point lead with 2 minutes to play. Let's go back to you.
Now, the storybook was too good to be true for Brady and the way he'd been performing in recent weeks. He's come down to earth a bit, a young player in just his second year out of Michigan, and it looks like Denver's going to go on to win that game. Here, timeout story is this: 1 for Seattle, 2 for Miami. Dolphins just trying to get that clock to 0-0, and they face a 3rd and 8 from their own 22. Seattle wants the football back and a chance to grab the lead before time runs out. If they stop them here, they should get the ball back with about 1:30 left. And flags come down.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 63 offense. 5 yards, 3rd down.
Mark Dixon called on that penalty. And coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, did Saddam Hussein have a hand in the terrorist attack of the United States? Leslie Stahl reports from Saddam's Iraq tonight on 60 Minutes, followed by Oscar winner Richard Dreyfuss, new hit series, The Education of Max Bickford, and then A Magical Wedding. CBS Sunday movie, The Wedding Dress, tonight on CBS.
Seahawks defense has to make a play here. 1:44 left in the ball game, 3rd and 13. Can't allow the Dolphins to pick up a 1st down in this situation.
Double tight end set. Line of scrimmage is the 17. Fiedler, play fake. Fiedler looking to run it, and look at the room in front of him. Jay Fiedler sliding down at the 35-yard line. And what a big play that is from the Miami signal caller.
Big time play by quarterback Jay Fiedler. His biggest asset can be his ability to run the football. This is just a bootleg. Sinclair bites on the fake and loses contained on Fiedler. They're in man-to-man coverage. There's no one back there until he picks up the 1st down, but he's able to get outside the defensive end, number 70, Mike Sinclair, and he's able to pick up the 1st down, giving his team a chance to ice this football game.
Yeah, barring something really wacky, this thing is over. A minute left, and the Miami Dolphins are going to improve to 4-2. Seahawks will drop to 3-3. And that question will come up after the game today, throughout the week, leading into their next matchup against the Washington Redskins on the East Coast. Why did Holmgren decide to go for the field goal? Lindell ended up missing it, but in my mind, it's irrelevant anyway. Miami was getting the football back with the same amount of time and basically needed 1 timeout, 1 1st down to put an end to this one, and they've done it.
It was a crucial decision made by Holmgren, deciding to go for the field goal. You have to give, I think, your offense a chance to make a play. The defense had gotten the ball back for the offense, gave them a chance to win the football game, and they were right in that position. Instead, they make a decision to go for a field goal, which would not have given them the lead in the football game.
Miami, first place in the AFC East at 4-2 with a 24-20 victory over the Seattle Seahawks. Matt Hasselbeck played his best game of the season, but his team falls short. Jay Fiedler, no, it's not pretty, but it's a win. And he made plays when he had to.
And that's the way he plays. He comes out, gets it done with his leg. Very smart quarterback, was able to protect the ball late in the game.
Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by The Education of Max Bickford and the CBS Sunday movie, The Wedding Dress. That's coming up tonight on CBS. Well, here's the play again. Lindell missing it. They went for the field goal. Would have cut it to 1 even if he made it, but at the end it was Dave Wanstead and the Dolphins who win it 24-20 for Solomon Wilcots. This is Ian Eagle. So long from Seattle. Dolphins a winner. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.